Discord. Hello,
Hey.
hello,
There we go.
hello.
You're pretty close. You're pretty
That was
close,
close.
Christy.
We were trying to guess when you were gonna unmute. I was like, oh, he's got his hand over the, and then he didn't do it. He was ready too
I
early.
didn't know I had my hand over the unmute.
Because it could see you, and you were like, you moved, and I was like, oh, here we go. But you took too long, so then it was awkward.
You overanalyzed me. You got it wrong. So that's disadvantage for the rest of the game.
No.
By the rules, by the new rules. Hello.
D&D 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a weird system they brought in, but you know, that's one of them. Hello. Welcome out to episode 13, everybody.
Woo.
It is a superstitious number, but this is not a very superstitious show. You know, it's just
Best
about
number.
mythology. That's true. Yeah, for some it is a lucky number.
I was born on Friday the 13th. It's a great number.
Oh, shit.
That's
nice.
fitting.
Joe, I have nothing to shout out. All right, we're getting it out of the way early this time. I have fucking nothing going on. There's nothing happening. There never is. Matter of fact,
Ever?
ever.
Does
What
anyone
about,
but
like, on your
Tomato have anything they want to
birthday,
shout
or,
out?
like, I want to shout out. No, I don't. I don't have
No.
anything either.
You don't have to make it up. If he's right, he's right.
Always
I'll
right.
accept it. I'll just accept it. If anyone has anything, you just interrupt me any moment because I'd be happy to.
I'm gonna have to start stalking Tomato's like Twitch and Twitter just so that like if there is anything that he's
He
doing and
mentions,
he
yeah,
doesn't talk about it
yeah.
in stream, I can be like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna shout out.
Really? Because this week I see that you did this, and
you did
this.
this cool
I
thing that I
figure
thought was
things
really
out
cool.
like the night of or the day of.
That's
like, there's
not
never
true.
like.
That is not true.
You just
I
live
know
by the
you.
seat of your
Yeah.
pants.
Out of our friendship group, you're one of the most meticulous with knowing your schedule ahead of time. You're like, no.
That's
On
true. When
Wednesday,
you
I'm doing
canceled on
this.
D&D, it's been like 8 weeks in advance. You're like, you know, on the next full moon,
He thinks about it.
8 months from now.
Look, there's a difference between being unbelievably professional to the extent of warning you about me missing a session 4 months early, and
and knowing what you're doing.
me knowing for sure what I'm doing today. You know what I mean?
Tomato, all this tells me is that I'm the only one that watches your streams because you talk about what's coming up next in your
Oh
streams.
shit, slammed.
Oh,
Slam.
Not
Where
worth
the rest
shouting
of
out.
Shout out to
Well-
Gabe for watching Tomato streams for the rest of us.
They're always weird, and like that's my vibe.
They
I
are
don't
weird.
have I don't have to see what's
No.
happening to hear what's happening, and that's enough for
That's
me.
true. That's true. Well, thanks, Jemai, for giving us a segment there. Wish there wasn't
Yeah, no
one.
problem, dude.
If we don't have anything to shout out, then you guys want to get into some D&D? We've been
Yeah,
away
let's
for a
do it.
couple of
Let's go
weeks,
for
so the recap might help everyone. But does anyone wish to read the recap?
I did the segment for the start.
Yeah.
I brought the segment. I don't
I'll
have
read
to,
it.
I'm exempt. No.
Okay,
Yay.
take it away,
I'll
Mark.
read it.
Going for the team.
In our previous adventure, we set out in search of the ferry system and happened upon Bait. After battling against the giant fish, we killed it and cut a scale to prove our success. We were paid for the kill and used some of the fund to buy supplies, along with a horse. On our journey northward to the ferry, on the back of a horse-drawn cart, a raven arrived and dropped a seed into Willoughby's hand. He planted it in the ground, growing a gateway to which a skald known as Braggy, the Old, stepped through. He had a message from Mimir.
And yes, that's right. We've all traveled to the 1940s, everyone.
If I could have been bothered, I would have put on the little effect, but I forget.
Amazing. Yeah.
No, could have done it, but no.
So, having just left Ironstone, you've moved northward. Oh, hold on one sec. I think the camera's up for a sec. There you go. You moved northward with the intention of heading towards the ferry so you can cross over and go to Alfheim. The journey there was only kind of like half a day, or so, or a day on the road. A few hours traveling. A couple hours into that traveling time, you had suddenly been visited by this raven, given the seed over, planted, and Willoughby, you recognized the person who came out. You recognized stepping out of this grown plant was young in feature, probably in his like late 30s, maybe beginning 40s. Hair that's like mostly grey, but starting to get brown streaks through it. A harp resting on a strap around his back. you see Braggy the Old. Not looking exceptionally old, but you see Braggy the Old nonetheless. You had to have the conversation, a brief one, with him, where he had mentioned, you'd mentioned you had something for Mimir. And in return, he said, I know something as well that would be best to speak with you. And I guess all of you. He cast a sleep spell on the kid who was kind of leading you along in the cart to keep him from prying. And began to look across all of you. It involves the fates of the world. So, first I must ask this, Willoughby. Are these your friends?
You kind of look around at everyone's facial expressions when they ask that. Well, I mean, I would say I trust them to an extent. I feel like that's a reasonable way to put it. I don't know what to tell all of you.
Wow, Willoughby.
It's fair, honestly. It's okay.
That we'd been through several life and death events.
You
and
can,
it'd be
this,
enough
in
to-
whatever information you're exchanging, you can exchange in their presence. I trust them certainly to that extent.
What I have to exchange is of paramount importance and also dire consequence if it were to get out. So as long as you speak on their behalf, your people, Mimir has been seeking them out to see if any of them have not got the corruption yet. Or at least if it's not taken hold.
Does that mean most of my people are already corrupted to the point where it's taken hold? What does that mean in this sense?
Those who remained closest to the World Tree absorbed more of its magic and found themselves seeping quicker into the poison. The closer to the World Tree, the worse it got. Those who remained by in Asgard have been contained. Most of them.
I've been off the grid, so to speak, from this plane for about 20 years, so excuse me if I'm asking some seemingly foolish questions. How many Kvistir of my age wandering beyond Asgard are still functional?
We'd guess 3, maybe 4.
Very, very cool.
1,000.
No. There are new Kavista who are healthier. Were harvested later. They don't use as much of the World Tree's essence, though they are not as strong in potential, many of them. No, of Willoughby's kind, the original. Some we have lost contact with. In fact, we believed that you might be one of the ones who perished during the war. We didn't realize you were still alive.
Oh.
But there are some that are, a couple that are accounted for, others which we believe to still be in Mesogaia. Unlikely that they have been corrupted. But those who did remain behind, even to the highest degree, only one of them has not entirely fallen. And that is your leader, although the greatest of you, but he is very sick. Mimir has a message for all of you. All of your kind and any we can find. He wishes to send it only to the most trusted skulls and any Kavista that might listen, as it is a request from the World Tree itself.
Right.
Currently, we believe the fates in the Norns to be ramping things up, creating armies.
You believe the Fates and the Norns are wrapping things up?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna have to. How about you do yours first?
All right. Yes. Currently, have you noticed how there's more strange occurrences happening? Towns are undergoing curses, monsters arriving. Constant stress upon mortality. This is only meant to happen whenever the Fates or the Norns intervene in a slight manner, often on behalf of the gods, but when they need a demigod to be tested, or perhaps create a hero for the theatre of it, they might create a monster or push a monster onto the right path every now and then. Every few years, months at most, or at least. A hero would emerge, kill the monster, go on to have a song written about them, or a story, a Mesogaia, an Odyssey. But the gods are sparing with this. The Fates don't like to put too much onto mortality, so they only do this occasionally. Otherwise, all of mortality will be wiped out by monsters and ill-timed curses. Right now, there's an increase of it. The gods don't know why, but they do believe that the Fates and Norns are trying to ramp up what we are calling the Age of Heroes. Essentially, on both sides, we believe, and we do believe this is happening in Mesogaia just as much, more creatures are emerging, more curses, more problems from town to town, the roadsides. People are having strange things happening to them. Stories, potential for stories just happening everywhere. We believe it is to build an army of heroes on both sides, so that when this war truly kicks off, they might clash with greater mortals.
Well, that's a more positive outlook than what we know, which is, I don't believe I included this in my message, sorry. There's not exactly much time in those things to exchange words. We ran into Briar, actually, on the way here.
Is Briar okay?
They are dead. We had to kill them. The corruption had totally taken control.
Maybe I feared that one.
And one of the last things they said to me was a message they were trying to carry to Mimir, which was more or less verbatim: all prophecies are dead, Fates and Norns are gone, fate no longer exists, which is a much more grim take on your theory.
No, that makes sense. And it is much worse than... He walks to the back of the cart and he sits down and kind of rests forward on his knees. This is bad. This is... Do any of you know how to juggle?
I think I understand the concept.
Sure. This might help you along. Kind of breathes out this kind of little bit of magic into you, and you feel so inspired. Like you feel like you have this kind of element of... You understand the concept of juggling, you feel a courage at the concept of actually performing it. AKA, if you roll a performance check, you can add a d12. If you would begin juggling, I'll explain in simpler steps.
Alfred.
What should I juggle? I'm looking around for pine
He reaches
cones.
into his pockets and
What I've
he
got.
takes out a series of small seeds, blows onto them. They grow to like the size of a small ball. He tosses 3 over to you, takes out 3 himself, and he begins juggling. Right,
I watch his hands and
copy after me.
okay. I attempt.
Go ahead and just roll a performance check.
Performance check plus a d12. 15 total.
15 is enough to juggle. It's just not very clean. Occasionally you stumble and then you quickly pick yourself back up.
I have to like walk a lot to
Yeah.
get to them.
Look at you, you're doing it.
Now
And
imagine,
eventually,
imagine, what is your name?
Eldred.
Imagine Eldred represents the fates. He begins juggling. And I'm the Norns. Fate is a tapestry in Mesogaya. In Mesogaya, the fates weave. They don't necessarily design them. They just help make sure that the threads don't fall apart. Here, in Midgard, the Norns, again, fate exists. But they are the ones who make sure that it doesn't fall apart. They see into the future. And they help ease it along. Make sure it doesn't collapse. Now imagine we are both juggling. We are the fates and the Norns ourselves. Everything is fine. We won't collapse as long as we concentrate and keep going. We're talented. But when, suddenly, our worlds open up to one another, he begins juggling with you. We start passing the fates and destiny between each other, interweaving stories that shouldn't have been interwoven in the first place. We're never destined to. Now that is all well and good, because we are both talented. We both can perform this, but we are relying on each other, both very skilled individuals. For the fates and the Norns to be defeated, to be gone, in this high-stress moment where they had to be so focused, something had to... And he just stops, lets go of one of the balls, which causes you to hit against him and it collapses the entire thing. Something must have plucked away a piece of destiny, a bit of fate, and unraveled everything. In reality, if you think about this for mortals, it's not a big deal. Mortals have free will. That is true of Mesogaya and true of Midgard, and true of Ithera. Mortals have free will, except when the fates and the Norns choose you don't, when they start throwing things in your way. But destiny is mostly there for the gods. It is both their greatest power and also a shield between them and mortals. Take Odin. Odin cannot die. He can't be killed, because the fates say that he'll be killed by Fenrir. So you could not go to Odin, stab him with a blade, because he could not die to that. For his fate is chosen. It is written. The future is told. They are invulnerable until their fate has been fulfilled. That is why the war has never really pushed to a certain degree. It's why mortals were used for fighting. Occasionally when gods clashed, they did so because they both knew that they wanted to test each other's abilities. They didn't think it would ever go that far. The lesser gods, perhaps, the ones who don't have as strong fate, ones who are not interwoven into the story, they are vulnerable. But the greater gods, Odin, Thor, Zeus, the Olympians, they're bound to the fates of the Titans. If the Titans have not risen again yet, then the Olympians are invulnerable, because that moment has to happen. Now, if you take away fate, and you take away destiny, and you take away all of that tapestry, it means the gods can be killed. It means that someone can drive a sword through Zeus or through Odin. Now, here's the problem with that. Is right now they're happy to not push things, because it can go slow. But what happens when a god suddenly realizes they are vulnerable? They will start to act against that tapestry, start to do things that are unpredictable, things that are dangerous, and mostly dangerous to mortals. If Odin is suddenly afraid that he can be killed by the other gods, he'll be paranoid. You cannot share this information with anyone. If the gods don't know it,
What could have taken the fates and the Norns? Like, could something kill them? How
Maybe.
would they
Maybe I
have
did.
just stopped doing their duty?
No,
Does
no,
anyone
no.
talk
No, no.
to them?
It's not. Gods are. Some gods can't help their nature. If a god is created to be the form of wrath, it will know nothing else. It might attempt other things, but it knows only wrath. The fates and the Norns know only destiny. That means that they would never choose to stop that. Perhaps they would mock the gods and be frustrated by it, but right now, the belief is that the fates and Norns are throwing as many monsters, as many curses, as many problems in the way of mortals to try and create as many heroes as possible. Empower the demigods, empower heroes. They are excited by it. It is a theater on both sides currently. The idea that they get to watch an entirety of 2 worlds, 3 if you include Othello, though they do not cast their eye there as often. They get to watch mortals constantly undergoing trials. Only the best will survive, and those best will be used in the armies. Right now, that is happening across both worlds. If they discover the fates and the Norns are gone, and they get desperate, they'll call upon their heroes that they have made to protect them, and many of them will. They are currently giving out boons, portions of their own power, to the mortals who request it. Mortals who show promise, and those of demi-mortal as well. If you manage to defeat a great monster and you were to call out to Zeus, he might grant you some portion of his power. And many of those people are... They think they're heroes among mortals, but when this war kicks off, they will serve the gods. Because it is the gods that gave them that power, and they will not want it stripped from them. But the gods can't. It's not as simple as that. For a god to strip power, once they've given you power, they can't just absorb it back. It's a gift. They'd have to kill you. Mimir would not like me openly telling you this, but quite frankly, I'm sure that if the gods found out you knew about the fates, they'd probably kill you, so you are probably the most vulnerable people here. Mimir is looking to put together heroes that would stand against other heroes. Or heroes. He wants a few mortals to play the long game. Play to the gods. Play to their egos. Take portions of their power, so that if the war kicks off and mortals are vulnerable, there'll be a group of mortals that are able to hold off against those mortals that have been empowered. Use the gods' powers against them. Now, with the knowledge you've given me, that means... and I can't believe I'm saying this. Those same mortals under Mimir's guidance, the ones playing the long game, might be needed if the gods turn against mortals. You might be needed if gods step out of line, if you wish to undergo this. Right now, they won't believe anything's wrong. Mimir's looking to build allies, so that when all of this kicks off, there are those willing to stand against the gods and their chosen champions. I don't know what faith you have, but I hope your faith in mortality is greater than that of the gods. There are some gods which are fine, and I understand the love for them. But there are others who will not take this news lightly. It's a big ask of you, and I know I've been speaking for a long time, solidly with all of your faces agape, but...
What if a god gives a gift and then the god is killed?
the gift doesn't fade.
gift is given in that moment.
Then they
right?
would
So
be
it
the
just
only
stays.
being with that power in the world, right?
Theoretically, yes. That's why the gods are cautious about it. Sharing a portion of your power. Right now, ego is working in the way of them. In the means of, if one keeps killing monsters towards Odin, or Thor, take Thor, a simple one.
Take
You keep-
Thor.
Keep killing in Thor's name, impressing Thor, taking out giants. He might just start empowering you because, in his mind, why would you turn against him? He's made you greater than you could ever be. He can't take that power back without killing you, and they will keep a portion of their power, enough of their power, and plenty more of their power, so they could kill you if you ever did step out of hand, but no one stands a chance against the gods as they are now.
If other people have questions.
As Braggy was talking, I would have taken the coin out of my pocket. I've just kind of been leaning back a little bit, maybe against the wagon or whatever. Do you know? I'm just gonna flip it between my fingers. I do really like a long game. Flip it.
I just want to clarify. Draven has cast Disguise Self on himself to make his face look calm and still.
Okay.
There is one thing, and I'm looking at Lena as I speak. A few things that I'm thinking about.
Yes.
A lot to think about.
It is a
Braggy.
lot.
I have many questions, but also perhaps the most pressing. You claim that the gods don't know about the Norns and the Fates, yes?
Yes.
I'm not sure if that's the case. I think there's at least one out there who may have a good idea, given what they witnessed in Herod.
Which one?
I look at Lena.
Loki.
You could not have said a worse name.
I know.
They know
Identified
what
him
happened. The prophets, and they saw what
disguised.
happened. Yes.
He
You know that they were
always
there.
turns up much like a bad penny.
But what concerns me is that he knew that the prophet in Herod, he knew that their prophecy didn't come through. He saw a lot of things that happened. I worry that he may have, maybe not exact knowledge, but at least an inkling that something is going on.
We can hope that he was
Just
so
perhaps-
proud of his own self for his
That's-
plan that maybe he didn't
yes,
connect all the dots, you know?
that's my
He
hope. I
was
think.
very smug.
Yes. So it's just something to be aware of. But also, I think back to the plot of Herod, and somebody knew that the gods were coming, and they planned. The king of Herod. I mean, maybe they were put onto it. The business with Grendel, I don't know. This is all just so convenient. There's so much coincidence that they were attempting to kill Thor and Ares when all of this. They should have known that it wouldn't have worked, but. We spoke to him. He told us his reasons for doing it. My other question,
Yes.
before I forget. What happens when all the gods are gone? What happens if all of the gods die? And the titans and all of the other powers and only mortals are left? What happens to our worlds?
In the story of Ragnarok, it is reborn and a few mortals survive and go on to rebuild the world. In Mesogaia, I
Yes.
don't know the entire story, but it's believed similar. Maybe less death across mortality, but definitely a great devastating moment when the gods and the titans fight once more.
But isn't that itself
Story.
a prophecy?
Mm-hmm.
Which means that it doesn't matter what I
No
say
one
to you.
knows.
Because everything from this moment, every word we're saying right now, I mean,
It
technically,
could be anything.
it could be. Technically, any word we would say anyway of being free will mortals is fine, but every action the gods are performing right now is not part of the tapestry. It's not the norm. It's
So,
The gods' power doesn't go when they die. Then at least I would like to believe that things that they create, the worlds, the beasts, the mountains, they would remain even if a god goes.
Would they
Yes.
function? Would they change the same? Would we have seasons? Would
we could
hell
never find
still
out.
hold death?
All of this theorizing is somewhat pointless to me without the confirmation of how exactly Briar got this information in the first place.
A very good question.
Because they were corrupted and barely functional when we found them. And while I don't necessarily want to doubt what they said,
Wait a minute.
do you know where they were sent
You-
before?
I haven't
Right,
noticed.
Braggy, you said that was a message from the World Tree, right? That Mimir had. So the World Tree maybe knew and was saying to Bright? Well, no, Willoughby, then why wouldn't you get?
Mimir's
was
message.
close
We're
to
not
that.
on good terms.
Oh, the tree is
It is,
pissed at
it
you.
is likely that the World Tree knows,
So,
but then hold on. But then
Why would Mimir tell you that they were making an army? That was the message you came
but
to tell
here's
us.
the thing, right? The only thing right now, what Braggy just said, the only thing keeping the gods in check right now is that they think the Fates and Norns are in charge and are building their own army. So they will
And
let
maybe
it
the
go
World
and
Tree.
we'll see what happens, right? Because they know, oh, I can't be killed because Fenrir is going to kill me.
Yeah.
And as soon as they know it's not the case, all hell breaks loose because they will freak the fuck out and just go crazy.
what it also means is that if the World Tree told Briar, because we did not know where to find Briar, means the World Tree and Briar were working on something that was outside of Mimir's knowledge. The World Tree knows of Mimir's plan. Perhaps Mimir was not meant to learn of the Fates. Perhaps you were not meant to tell me.
Would the tree have thought that it was safer to have Mimir not know?
Perhaps
Because what if...
Mimir currently will not be able to seek you out. Since things have escalated, Odin has not left Mimir from his belt. Mimir is constantly attached.
Right.
So, maybe it is a case of not wanting Odin to find out. The fact that I know... along
I
with
look
you-
around for ravens.
Or a perception check.
$15.
You don't see any. Seems to be pretty
Okay.
quiet around here. Fortunately, Odin's eye is very much fixated on Mesogaya. There was a war between the gods here, the Aesir and the Vane gods. Long ago, in cause of Mimir's life, he was resurrected. And it almost could have created such devastation that would have been the end of our world. That was between just a few gods. When the war kicks off between this world and the other one, things will be devastating.
Right.
Going back to... Oh, go on, Willoughby, please. Please.
I didn't say anything.
Somebody made a very similar
was-
sound to the
that was-
sounds you
I
make.
think that was
That
me.
was probably
Spend
Braggy.
a lot of time around him.
If you, I think back to Willoughby. You said, you know, if Briar found, if Briar knew this because the World Tree told them, we cannot forget that the poisoning of the World Tree as well. Could this be connected to it in some way? Is that a story in I do not know your culture? Is part of Ragnarok the poisoning of the World Tree? Is that something new? Perhaps that's when it began, this changing of fates for the gods.
I at least personally am not on very good terms with the World Tree, so my exact understanding of it and its various history and future are limited. I don't know if you, Braggy, would have any more input that I wouldn't.
Well, we can't have been the poisoning because we know that the Fates and the Norns are alive.
Right.
They've been in contact enough.
But why would they
Braggy.
not? But the Fates and Norns, you say, claim know the future. They would have known the World Tree would have been poisoned. They would know who would have done it, right?
But their
True.
job isn't necessarily to intervene in the future, right? If it is.
It is more likely that it is. Imagine you are knitting a jumper, and suddenly 1,000 more were thrown at you. To get through that many
Sure.
potential futures would have taken them a lot more time to sort through. If they saw the World
Braggy.
Tree poisoning, they just probably wouldn't have had time to prevent it.
Can
Might be new
I
folk.
ask? Maybe you don't know, but they're out of. We don't know where they are, right? They're not in play at this moment. We can say, at least, right? Do the Fates? I guess you may not know so much about the Fates. The Norns. Do they have regular contact with people who will notice that they are gone?
Only when they need it. Whenever someone goes to visit the Norns, they have to, even the gods, have to request an audience.
Okay.
And then they would
Wait.
lead them there.
If they're not there, it would be quite an easy test to see if we can just walk in without requesting an audience.
It's
Also,
They would lead you the way. So it's more likely that people will think they're being ignored.
Sure, which is probably not that uncommon because they are very busy, right? So that may
there
not
must-
raise suspicion right away.
there must be some way to reach wherever they live, wherever they are. I mean, the Fates, there must
exactly.
be a similar method.
It's only a matter of time before someone requests an audience with the Norns and they don't answer back, and then the jig is up. So surely
Also-
there must be a way to confirm for ourselves without that part of the process.
Well, also, Briar said that the Norns and Fates are gone. Did they say they were dead, or did they say that they were
They only
gone?
said gone.
They could have
Destiny
been.
is
Somebody may have
unbound. The Fates
taken
and
them,
Norns
or
are gone.
removed them, or this could be some plan of someone's to. This may not just be a case of them simply being gone, being killed, but perhaps somebody has purposely removed them to unlock this vulnerability of the gods.
It's almost I mean, I think that is going to be a lot to try to figure out, right? Where they might be, who might have them, etc. And in the meantime, what we do know is there are quite a few gods out and about giving out boons, and we should grab some right away and get them so that we are prepared for whatever happens. Right?
That just
I'll help you do whatever you want to do, but I have no interest in the power of the gods.
yeah, Wilby kind of shudders at the idea of like getting involved with the gods at all to that extent. Like that's
You
kind
don't
of
have to take. I don't know. It's a boon, right? You don't have to take it if you don't want it. But I will say this: everything Braggy just said, the gods are going to figure it out at some point. They're going to lose their fucking shit. We are going to be in trouble when they lose their shit, and I would like to be prepared and ready to fight back.
This is
That's
why I
me.
miss living in Ethela. All they had out there for gods was big rocks. They were just big rocks that stuck out of the ground.
I think if
and
a big
didn't
rock is pissed at you, it's just like
fall on you, maybe maybe tip
right.
over.
If you
but that was
stand
pretty
back
much all they
far
did.
enough, it's not going to hit you, right? You're like,
Yeah,
it's this
people would
tall.
go and hang out at those rocks, and I mean, even if those rocks knew that fate wasn't a thing anymore, those rocks would probably just stay rocks, and that was pretty cool. It was a nice time in Ethela. I don't like dealing with gods, is what I'm trying to say.
The gods are rock.
They're rocks.
Atala is quite nice.
That's where you've been.
Yeah, just for a little. I like to explore things. I was there for
Oh.
a bit. Yeah. It's quiet. It's nice.
It's very nice. I was trapped there for 20 years.
It's really green and
explains things.
pretty.
It does.
I wasn't there for 20 years. That's a long time. Just a bit.
Should we? I mean, Braggy, it sounds like there is no known cure. I mean, we know that Willoughby has this corruption. We
How
were going
is
to go.
it-
We were going to come to Asgard, right? We were going to come
Asgard's
and
locked
try and
up.
find.
I have a question regarding that. How is it because I wasn't in this plane that the corruption didn't spread to me as quickly? There must be a reason
I imagine so.
am still as functional as I am.
Proximity to the world tree's definitely got a thing.
Should I
Over
be
the years.
You should
going?
not go to the world
It
tree,
takes
right?
time.
Should I be leaving
It does take
or
time.
something?
It took many, many years before some of them started to develop greater.
So I have about 20 years, give or
But
take.
do we think, like,
I'd say so.
if we go to Yggdrasil, will it go faster? Like, should we stay away and
It
not
might
go?
also be like a spiritual thing. I'm not
True.
spiritually very close to the world
Oh,
tree.
then you're
They've
okay.
never spoken to me, and if they have, I've probably never been much willing to listen.
Maybe
or let
that's
them in.
why you don't
You
get along.
know.
It tried to talk to you and you ignored it, and now it's got hurt feelings.
Well, I hope its feelings are hurt, to be honest, between you and me.
All right.
Braggy did also say that Asgard is locked off. You said it is not acceptable as
All of the
accessible.
realms are falling into some form of disarray.
Well,
Because the tree is poisoned, so
Like-
gates are not.
Just
I mean,
in terms of, actually, it's probably to do with the Fates and the Norns. We thought it was a thing to do. We thought it was their way of pushing for heroes, this age of heroes. But Asgard has
Wait.
locked itself off. It's become a
well,
training
I
ground.
mean, it's.
But which realms are locked off? Like, can they go
No,
back
no,
to
no, 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 no.
Mesogaya?
No, it's not like that. Mesogaya is
Okay.
a different world. These are the realms
Right.
attached to Yggdrasil. Asgard is locked off by the gods. They're using it as a training ground. Only their most blessed
so
champions, so they've given the most gifts to.
You're going to tell me that the gods have managed to lock down every single unofficial route in and out of Asgard, because
will
there
to
are
tell you-
many of those that are uncharted.
If you go to Asgard unannounced and you are discovered, you will have the wrath
Smote.
of some of the greatest champions in this entire world after you. It doesn't matter who you are.
Ah, so this isn't a we've sealed all the routes. This is more of a you're just not allowed to come in despite the
Wait, can you
fact that
travel
the
to
routes
other
They've
are
places
attempted to
through
open.
seal
the
the
routes?
They've attempted it. But if you get in there and you're discovered uninvited, you will fight some of the greatest things in there.
I am a feaster. I'm surprised I need an invitation to return to the world tree.
I do not really. And I say this with a hushed tone. Odin has begun beyond paranoid, to a point where he's even starting to distrust the Vanir. He would easily kill you and not think of it.
If it's killed you and not thought about it anyway before,
No.
now he's just going to do it
His
faster.
compassion is gone. He had empathy for his people. It is fading. Everything is. He's locked himself into Vanaheim. Taking refuge there so he can be left in peace whilst he plans. Niflheim is filling with Draugr. Hordes and hordes of them. Helheim is completely gone quiet. No ravens there. They're all being killed. We don't know what's happening in Helheim. Muspelheim, the giants are warring with each other, trying to find a leader. Surtur is on the move. He's stopped smithing his great sword. Jotunheim has supposedly killed the god and taken his power. Alfheim is on the brink of war between the light and the dark elves, as they've discovered something. We don't know what. Svartalfheim has dug something from the deep, and the main city has gone dark. In Midgard, worse than all. Jormungandr shifting has unleashed new monsters upon the isles out in the east. Snaeland has a new conqueror that is emerging among the land. A lesser god is known to torment the southwestern people in the Greenlands. Crime has accelerated in the east. Monster Mother has arisen in the south. Berker has declared war on Gandvik, and Drake stir in the north. Every
And the
portion of our world
corruption.
is currently undergoing terror. And we thought it was the Norns just allowing more chaos so that more heroes can emerge. But the reality is that this is chaos untapped.
Well, if that's the case, who was it that received my message to Asgard? Was it you then? Were you at the root?
It was me. I'm currently undergoing the role as Mimir in the open as much as I can.
So,
Messages go
are
through
you
me.
able to communicate with Mimir even though he's stuck to Odin 24/7 right now?
We have a method.
When is this chaos started?
Must have been truly started within the last year or so. A few years, maybe. Is what if it took time to build up.
Do you know?
Well, how do we begin the bureaucratic process of getting an invitation into Asgard? We might as well start the process early.
Or only his greatest champions. Those that have given the most boons.
That
That
those
means you
that-
have to take
to
boons.
take a boon, you need to
I
get
won't
famous.
be
Take a
doing that.
boon.
I'll hang out with rocks if I want to.
You're going to just sit next
Hang
to a
out
rock.
with any gods.
So
I'll
you'll
take your-
accept boons from rocks.
It was. I don't think they're alive anymore. The gods in Ethla. It's mostly just rocks. But honestly, that was a refreshing twist.
So, Bragi, can I ask you something else? Sorry.
I have all the time we need.
All right. So, we know Mimir's plan, right? We know what we were told. And Mimir's plan still seems to make sense, right? We should still
More than ever.
get a few boons, right? So we are prepared for everything that is coming.
Before you continue,
Yes.
only if you deem yourself heroes. If you do not believe that you will be tempted by the power to join the gods, then accept them. If you fear that you are tempted, don't do it, we can find someone else.
I've done a lot of things in my life. Might as well try being a hero for a little bit. It sounds like it could be fun. All right. So, do you have any suggestions as to where to start? Is there somebody that's a little more willing to be open-minded, or I don't know, easier to approach at first, or something?
And
like
what
that?
about Mesogaian gods?
I mean,
Are those? Could we get boons from them?
They're doing the
Me?
as
same.
far as unless something's changed, I remember Baldur being at least one of the more pleasant ones I've met. I don't know how he's doing with boons right now.
Can call him.
If I may as well, while you think on these boons and matters, is there any being or creature or place that would help us answer the question of where the Norns and the Fates are now?
Or what happened?
If we wanted to return them, if they were captured, if they were alive still, and we wanted, and I'm not saying we do, I have not made that thought of my own, let alone think of speak for you, but if we wanted to return them, would that would bring more peace and stability, right? That's what you're saying, that the gods would no longer be afraid of their deaths, and the fates can once again stop all these monsters and curses and the like. If we wanted to. Is there a way you know of that we might be able to get a clue?
Right, just where to start, right?
Hmm.
But of course, we need to be really circumspect because
Mm-hmm.
we can't let anyone know.
This is purely hypothetical. For my own curiosity, if you will.
There. It's out of the gods. I mean, I can't. It's a long shot, but in the town of Svepir, there was a man who was not taken very seriously by others, but he claimed to have been in a relationship with one of the Norns, and that they would visit him often, and he was the only one that didn't ever have to ask for an invitation.
Interesting.
Very.
Well, that sounds like a good start.
Right. What's the town called?
Svepir.
Svepir?
Svepir?
It's near the it's near the root.
Do you know which Norn he claimed to be in a relationship with?
I don't know these
He
Norns.
didn't
It's...
say.
Well, you know, there's past, present, future.
Ah,
Right.
I see.
He
Similar
didn't
to the
say.
Fates, then.
He was bragging, and
So it could just be a drunk idiot.
It could
It
just
could
be,
be.
but it's something.
but the thing about him is that the thing that was curious about him is that he would always know when someone was visiting him. He'd always know when someone was. Anytime I went through the town, he would have prepared food for me already, even if I never mentioned that.
So
I was curious.
so you know his name then?
Of course,
How we could find him easily.
What is his name?
Ashlar. Ashlar.
Good to know.
All
Could just be a
right.
story, but could be something to consider in the future. If you think of anything else.
Is there a way, Braggy, that we can get in touch with you? Or I guess you could probably figure out the way to keep an eye on us.
Yes, because otherwise
Mm.
if you're pretty much any farther than we were from the route when we contacted you, it's out of the question.
I'll give you 3 seeds. They can be used to call for me when you need, in the same way you did before. Just 3. I'd ask you
Yeah,
don't
will be
plant him in the midst of danger. I'd rather not.
Of course. Willoughby will take them.
Hands him across the knee.
Willoughby takes them.
Willoughby takes them with a big smile. If he had a face, that is, which he doesn't.
Puts them in a volcano. Plants them in a pot in a volcano and
right.
just pushes it in.
If you go along with this, and you do accept the boons, you play the trickster in yourselves. Ironic if Loki is the only one who knows. If you accept these and become more powerful, perhaps in a year from now you'll be. You might struggle fighting a bandit now, but in a year from now you could kill hundreds. If you do this, it is a great burden upon you. None of you are being asked to kill gods or fight them. All we're asking is to put mortals first. And any mortals that have stepped out of line and turned on their own, perhaps set them straight. If you do that
Free
through
will.
violence or conversation, it matters not. And if you do seek entry into Asgard, and you do acquire enough power and trust from the gods, be careful. You are asked before, Eldred, about the Mesogynes. When they saw Midgard being used as a testing ground to create heroes, they started doing the same thing themselves. Their chaos, they didn't care as much. The Olympians often enjoy the theater of just sitting back and watching, so. But they started creating a lot more, empowering their demigods or empowering heroes and kicking off odysseys. So, yes, if you would like to call out to one of the Olympians, I'm sure even as far as here, they would certainly hear you. In fact, if anything, they'd be very eager to give a boon to someone who is so far away in enemy territory. But remember, if you are calling out to a god, try to appeal to their sense of nature. certain gods will enjoy other forms of sacrifice or honoring them. Depends on their role and what they enjoy.
All right. I think I have an idea.
I will happily travel with all of you to collect these boons, but I have no intention of taking
You're
it.
just going to be boonless the whole
I will
time.
be the boonless boy.
You
The
will be
boonless
the
boy.
No,
weak
Willoughby,
boy.
I personally will not be doing it either. I have never believed in the power of the gods, only my power of myself and my beliefs. But there is
It
something
would
I would
be
like to look
yourself if you had it.
after. No, it is
You
not my
gain a
power. It is not
gift.
my philosophy. But there is
I've-
something I want to do.
I've seen
Don't
enough
take
of the
advantage,
gods
it's
for a
not fun.
lifetime, and to be honest, I don't want to take things from them. I am
Mhm.
just
But-
not interested in that.
Commendable.
Braggy.
And I think that I perhaps it is foolish, but I have always believed if we master ourselves, if we master the power that we have as mortals, we will be strong enough. I genuinely believe that. It is not something that everyone can do, but it is something that the few can do. And if
I've got to be
Willoughby
honest,
can tap
I've-
into some power, I think that one day perhaps there's something there.
Maybe you're right.
I don't. There's something everywhere. I think I've been in enough scrapes that if I have something that will give me an advantage, I'll take it.
I also feel like I
And I
kind
would
of
not
have
judge.
the extra bonus of having Yggdrasil magic, so I'm kind of talking out of my ass when I say I'm not taking boons because I
That's
believe
fair.
I've taken one on
You're
like
a boon
involuntarily.
right now, right? You fell
Involuntarily.
into volcano, lava, whatever. Your whole thing is you're a boon. You're already
It's very
a
nice
boon.
of you to say.
You're a real boony guy.
You're a boon. Hey, Braggy, I have another question for you.
Of course.
This might be a little personal, so you can tell me to shove it if you want. That's fine. But did you say you're called Braggy the Old?
Oh, yes.
Because you don't really like. You just didn't seem that old. Like,
Yes.
Are-
I was once.
and
I-
now, oh, you went backwards.
And forward and back and forward again. It complicated. I was very much considered to be the first skald. I was a storyteller.
Oh,
I told the great story of Ragnar Lothbrok and his sons until they were imprisoned away, but that's an entirely different story. For this, Mimir convinced Odin to give me a gift, a boon, to
I
remain
see, he's got
immortal.
one.
I was potentially one of the first mortals to get one. I am immortal, or at least I won't die by natural means. However, Odin was not incredibly fond of me, so he didn't exactly... He didn't remove the aging part. So as
Oh,
the
shit.
years went on, I continuously felt older and older, which didn't really have a lasting effect until I was well into my 400s, and then it really did wear and tear on me. But Mimir helped me try and maintain some form of strength so that I can continue walking and talking. I went over to Mesogaia, and there I met a philosopher.
Oh.
A man named Pythagoras.
One of the 13.
He is. We got to talking, and he was fascinated by my immortality. And he kept asking me, do I miss being young? Do I miss being young? And the whole time he was talking, it was strange. He had this magic. It was unusual. Like these small numbers and symbols would float around me in his power.
His dialogus.
Strange, you know of it. Yes, he called it that. And the whole time we were talking, he was so fascinated by it. And he would say, what would you do to be younger? And I said, I miss this and this. And we spoke about what we called essentially the age of internal peace. The age of which, when you were very young, you hope you were an adult, So you can lift bigger things. You can go on great journeys with your parents or your brothers. So you can fight. When you grow too old, you wish you were younger so you could be sprightly again, or you miss your youth when nothing else really mattered. You could run around playing games. And we got to discussing what is the perfect age. What age exactly is the age of just complete internal peace, where you don't wish you were younger, where you don't wish you were older, where you were just completely happy. And during that, his magic changed me. Whenever I truly wish to be younger, I get a little younger. But when I miss being a little older, I get a little older. So I'm in continuous aging and de-aging and aging and de-aging again. But I don't think it'll be anything I'm ever content about. Age is very much circumstance of benefits and de-benefits, so I am Braggy the old, but I'm also Braggy the young and Braggy the ever-aging, thanks to Pythagoras.
Pythagoras, when you spoke with him, this wish, he made it manifest in you.
He had incredible power. I'd never
you
seen
do
anything
that?
like it.
We'll look over at Juno.
Yeah,
Your thing?
you're not gonna do that.
Every
Punch someone
dialogus
in the
is different. The power manifests differently in different ways. I'd never known exactly what the great Pythagoras, one of the 13 great philosophers of Mesogaia, one of the originals, one of the likely most powerful of the dialogus. I'd never known exactly what it could do. This gives me a lot of hope. I'll need to test it. Face
So
it
what,
myself.
what number are you then?
I don't know if I even technically have one. My dialogus is only just manifested. It's why I want to grow. I want to see it expand and get stronger. I'll have to face them as I gain strength, I guess. Test
You
myself
have to
against them.
fight them.
Yes, of course. Yes. How else do you prove? Like a debate, you must
Yeah,
prove that your
no.
arguments are the greater, that you have the most wisdom. So it is the same with our strength of will
Alright.
as well. Strength of mind, strength of body.
That makes sense.
Your culture's wild.
The philosophers of the academia are a particularly strange bunch, but I should return at some point now that my dialogus has manifested. I'm interested to know where I stand.
Well, it's
Thank you.
fascinating to meet another philosopher. I learned a lot. Well, what you've told me is concerning, but Mimir hasn't spent much time around mortals in a long time, but just this brief interaction I've had with you, it gives me hope. When things get bad, and they will get bad, hold your courage in other mortals, in each other. The war to come will be devastating. But it is in our friends and those we trust that true power is held. One thing about the gods, they often like fighting alone. Same goes for great champions. One thing you have as a benefit over them is reliance on an ally.
I'm gonna reach out and just kind of squeeze Eldred's arm. and
Don't forget
smile.
that. Don't lose your path. And good luck. Plant those seeds when you need me. One at a time will do. I'll do my best to help out in any way I can. Well, it would have been rude of me to not ask before, but across your entire group. Do you have a name?
Sort of. We're
Recently?
experimenting.
Yeah,
You have time.
recently tried, but
By
you
the
what.
next seed, I'm sure we'll have figured it out.
Until the next seed. He bows. Hey, he's just asleep, by the way. You can just wake him up. It'd be fine. Poor kid looked tired anyway. Anyway. He takes the form of an owl. And then flies off into the sky and westward.
Well, that was a whole lot. How are you all doing?
Oh, look at Draven.
And you've been pretty quiet. What do you think?
Yeah, like no reaction at all to any of that.
Yeah, your face actually hasn't moved once
Yeah, that's
since
weird.
this started.
Are you frozen?
I'm gonna end this guy's self, but I mean he blinks. You don't look dumb.
I don't have much to say to that. This isn't my world. I don't understand your Norns and all of this and so much.
Well, it's your world too. It's
Right, they said
fates.
Messagaya.
But so many questions just gives us more and more questions. And
Yeah.
I don't know. We spend a lot of time speculating and less time doing. But then when we spend time doing, we don't.
Know what to do.
We don't.
I was going to say we don't speak to each other.
Well, we have some time before. I mean, I'm assuming we're going to Svepir now. So we have plenty of time to talk along the way there.
I don't know.
Although we should probably get some of it out of the way before we wake up the kid.
Yeah, I don't.
We should work on a code word for the fates and the Norns so that we can talk about it places without worrying about gods finding out.
True.
Well, if we're worried about
No.
Odin specifically, I can check for that. But
You can
anyone
check.
else?
I mean, I think while we hear,
It's a simple spell to search for ravens. It's
Bragi seem to be pretty confident that right now, in this moment, we're pretty clear. So I think we're
guess-
okay for now.
For the immediate moment, we have a little boy asleep in the wagon, right? So, do we want to
That's
wake
right.
him up and
Ga-
continue to the ferry so it doesn't look super weird?
Gabe had forgotten we got a child. So I'm like, who the hell are they talking about?
That's
What?
why
Yeah,
the
the guy
boy
leading you
is
guys.
driving us to.
Totally forgot about the
I mean,
child.
they'll be
That's
asleep for a
probably-
little while.
Should we
I'm
all
just
pretend
saying-
that we're sleeping too?
Yeah, it's like I'm just saying that I don't know that we want to be like, just kidding, we're not taking the ferry now. Like maybe we just go there anyway.
Well, it's
Also,
on the
where's
way.
Svepir,
Svepir is
right?
across.
Svepir?
Yes, Svepir is right across the
we
lake.
still have to
It's
cross.
Oh, it's fine. Then
Yeah,
we
it's
just keep going. It's okay.
the way we were going anyway.
Great.
Do we want to go to Slepir? Do we want to put these Norns and Fates back?
I
It's
think the thing
well,
is, right?
even
it
if
is
it's possible?
nice to have information. It is
Hmm.
better to have it than not have it, right?
Okay.
You can make informed
Sure.
decisions.
Okay, I
Or-
like that.
You
Yeah,
stab in
sure.
the dark. I'll stab in the dark, but it's good
If
to know.
Loki is responsible for misplacing the Norns and the Fates, and we need to know that so that we know.
This is the only real lead we have towards anything other than just making a career out of kissing all the gods' asses until we get boons. So
Yeah, I'm
how
not
about
going
we
to
go
kiss a
Svepir?
god's ass. I want to say it right there. If that is what it takes to get a boon, I also will be boonless. No ass kissing.
I think you just have to believe in what they believe in and work for what they
I do,
want.
though.
And if it's what you already want, anyways, then it's work. Like if I would be
Again, right?
stoked to
I-
get the boon from Ekati. I mean,
I like
it's
the
already what I
idea.
want anyway, right?
The long game is appealing.
Look,
do
I
like
won't
it.
judge anyone that takes boons from anyone. My reasoning is my own.
Let me give you the mechanic above board to give you guys an idea. So as a general overview. So, in other campaigns, I've done something called a legacy item, which is an item which, it might be your bloodline, it might be a weapon or an item you get, which evolves with you during the campaign. Boons are going to work a little differently, and you do not have to take a boon. A boon will come at certain episodes, or certain levels, And think like Hades, where you get options. If you have up to like 3 choices, depending on how many gods. If you've only appealed to 2 gods, only 2 choices. If you appeal to 3, 3. Might go to 4, depends on how much there is. And those boons will be something along the lines of, I'll look at your class, your subclass, and I'll say you're a rogue. I will go, okay, what would Thor at level 5 give to a rogue? What would Hades at level 5 give to a rogue? What would Zeus at level 5 give to a rogue? Each of these boons, you will then get to pick one on that level up. And essentially, as the game continues going onwards, all the way up until the high levels, if you collect these boons and your choices, your class or subclass will gain these permanent passive abilities that will add to your class. If you don't go for boons, you might have less choice as you're kind of going down the more iconoclast, the kind of, straight road of, I'm not looking to appeal to a bunch of beings, I'm sticking to one. You'll still get some form of power given to you from some entity, be it doesn't have to be a godly entity. For example, for Juno philosophy, Willoughby could be the world tree itself. You just probably wouldn't have the series of choices that appealing to gods comes with. So if you want more variety, the god boons will probably give that. Otherwise, you will still get power-ups. But yes, essentially it's going to be passive or maybe actives, but permanent abilities that you basically get to unlock. And to appeal to gods, appeal to their nature. See what the gods might like. Maybe slaying a great creature, you can appeal to a god of hunting, or even if you kill it in a certain way, maybe that appeals to another god. But if you've appealed to 3 gods before the certain level's up, you'll get the selection of boons.
Do you have to take the boon to gain more favor with them?
There is technically not a mechanic for favor, like you don't have a number, but it's safe to say in roleplay wise, if you take their boon, they will probably favor you greater.
Puts you on the path, basically, of like, oh yeah, this kid's interesting. I'll keep an eye on them. And whereas if you turn the boon down, they might be like, well, screw you then.
If at level 15, you'd appeal to, say, Zeus 3 times, and other people along the way as well, but every time you chose the Zeus boon, it's probably a likelihood that Zeus is going to quite take favor on you, because he thinks, oh look, he's one of my favorites. So it's very much a, but then it doesn't mean that, you can do all that in roleplay. You don't have to take a boon to take favor of the god. But you will gain powers based on the god's kind of role.
And powers will come at level thresholds, not before.
Yeah, it'll probably happen on level thresholds. If it happens in story, I haven't decided entirely yet. So it's going to depend on how it works. This is something I'm testing out for the first time in you guys.
That I'm not sure if I'm going to do what I was going to do.
It's going to be that Godforge thing where someone whiffs their fucking legacy item for fucking 40 sessions, dude.
Well, no, so different to that, where legacy items will be based on origin stories. This probably will go level up, so you all get your boons at the same time. So it would be like a level up feel. Or your boon.
I always like that, so it doesn't feel like someone's kind of like being left behind while story progresses for them.
In terms
of the overall progression,
yeah, exactly. But in terms of choosing boons, you don't have to do it. And you can just have fun with it. And also I will say this, you can metagame the idea of like, hey, I really want to get speed, so I'm going to appeal to Hermes, because your characters will know he's the god of speed and whatnot, and you know that that's probably likely. So there is an element of that. If you want to try and farm certain boons as a basis of like, I really want thunder, so I know Thor, then you can. Because above board, your characters, in game, your characters would know. So yes, it's just that's the general background mechanic. You do not have to pursue it. There will be obviously ways I will not leave people out of getting power-ups. So don't feel forced to, but it might come with more options.
And can we, like, things like thinking about how to earn a certain god's favor, like, if we don't know that, like, is that a case of making, like, a religion check, or is that something that you'll just be, like, telling it? Okay, cool.
Yeah, so you can make religion checks, or you can try and, like, test certain things. Like, you have time to do this, like, if you, like, when you go and get favor, say if you did favor today, that favor might stick around until the episode where you will level up and get the favor.
You unlock it.
You can, essentially you can do your job now to try and lock in that boon, and it could be in 15 episodes time that the boon will be offered to you. So it doesn't mean like don't worry about whenever you choose to do the boons. I'm only choosing level ups as a means so that no one feels left behind on like, crap, I should go and spend 3 episodes garnering boons. So it's not a rush around. So yes, You can get them anytime, and then I'll probably put them on a level ups.
Cool.
But yes, that's just above board, so you know the mechanic of it. So if you are interested in it, you can pursue it. But anyway,
Me and Tamar are going to be the boonless crew. We're going to be boonless.
I mean, the only things we'll be spent any time around the last 20 years was big rocks sticking out of the ground.
Maybe that's it. Maybe you can get Excalibur or some shit.
something you can look into.
Joe's face.
So, winding back into things, Braggy has just left. The kid is asleep on the cart, and you're kind of stood out there in the woodlands.
We did the ferry? We head across?
Yes.
No point sticking around here.
Okay.
Do we
We'll
know
have plenty
how
of
long
time to
It's a
talk
lead.
once we
How far is it to get from the ferry to Svepir? Do we know? How long
closer
it
than
takes?
going to the route.
True.
Yeah.
Joe, do we know how long that would take us to get from the ferry to Svepir?
Based on kind of the map distance, you're probably a few days of travel, probably. The land kind of west of Mirror Lake is a little bit harsher in terms of like less straight roads, but you'd be able to get there in a few days.
Oh, that's where it is. Okay.
Pretty mountainous over there.
What if I can get a boon for mountain climbing?
Perfect time for those of you who want to appeal to gods. Also, something that Bragi mentioned, I mean, it sounds like the realms are all in chaos. Even if we get to Jotunheim to help Eldred with your thing, it sounds like we're going to be walking into. I mean, it's not they've killed the god and obtained their power and stuff. And
they kind of passed over that pretty quick.
I think
there's
it's
a
just right.
horde of the dead in your. What did they call
All
it?
bets are off.
Niflheim?
We don't know what to expect, right? Everything is in disarray, so...
So taking a bit of time to maybe,
they
travel a bit longer and get some
Exactly.
experience.
I feel like I should say here. I think it's no secret. I still have the coin out and I'm flipping it through my fingers. It is no secret I don't really love the gods. I'm going to take any advantage that I can get. So it's not, I'm not appealing to the gods, but I'll take their free shit for sure.
Absolutely. Let's just be a little careful in the sense of we don't want to make enemies of every single god by pissing them off.
I haven't made an enemy of one yet. So,
I know we haven't made any yet, but I also know that this sounds like a kind of snowballing effect where eventually we may have 30 to 40 gods knocking on our door pissed off at us.
An enemy of us, and by then we can take them. It will be fine.
Exactly.
You got to dream a little bit bigger, Willoughby. Come on.
It's not like they're going to work together.
They
would
all
still
hate
only
each
come
other.
with
That's
us-
the
come with
entire
us
reason we
one-on-one.
You got to keep everything secret, right? They'll hate each other if they know what's going on. It's going to
Listen,
be
I'll kick
total
back
shit
and
show.
watch as you all get involved with your boons and happily be the eye from a distance, making sure none of you get yourselves killed in the process.
Yeah, I mean, that would be great. I'm down for that. Please don't let me die. Thanks.
And Lena, regardless of my own choices or anything else, I don't think that you would ever be sucking up to the gods or showing them favor.
Yeah, no, fuck them, honestly. But again, I'll take their
Exactly.
stuff.
You don't need to justify it.
All right.
I know.
I just wanted to be clear. I didn't want you to think
cool.
I was like lying this
Never.
whole time.
Never. And Draven, I know that you say that you don't know much about this world. If you want, while we're traveling, I can tell you what I know, or at least what I've learned, or we can ask the others here who know far more than I. We know that you've mentioned before that you have plans involving a god back in Mesogaia. It sounds like this, if you want to find strength that means that you can do that, it sounds like this is your best chance, or at least a good chance for you to do so.
Do me a favor. Do not mention that unless I bring it up first.
Sure. Amongst
Noted.
these guys, it's okay, though.
No, I mean
okay.
ever. Because we don't know what we can't see.
Gotcha.
But yes.
Okay.
We should wake this kid up and get to the ferry.
Yeah, okay, are we just telling him how he just fell asleep?
Do you know what? We took a little break, and while we were, I don't know, getting a snack, he fell asleep on the cart. It's pretty easy.
Yes, and perhaps we could even get a discount if we do that.
I don't know. Then he's going to get in trouble. Let's not
We
get him in trouble
paid
because we
him
put him
already.
to sleep. I'm gonna go try to wake the kid up.
Yeah, you can
I
shake him
forgot
awake.
his name. Yeah.
Ah.
Come on, buddy. It's time to get up. Sorry.
Ah.
You alright?
Where did the
What?
man go that came out the plant?
What message came out of the plant?
What?
Are you okay? Did you have a good dream then, huh?
What a deception check. I'll give you advantage because Eldred helped.
Right.
Selling
Oh
the
shit, I
lie.
didn't even have my sheet open. Hold on, sorry.
That's okay.
I was ill prepared. Deception, huh?
Deception.
Sure. Oof, only a 12. He's a kid, come on.
We can't kill this kid out here.
I didn't say kill him, I just told him
We can't get rid of this kid in these woods to get rid of the evidence of
That was a
this.
big
We just
jump at
can't.
escalation, Willoughby.
Wilby didn't say that in his voice.
Could have sworn I saw a man. He came out of a seed.
That sounds pretty cool.
Right, kid.
Wait,
Oh.
Kid, we got
Should
a
we
place
get
to
going?
Are
be.
you good to drive?
ready? We going to go to the ferry?
Are we
Go
gaslighting
sleep.
a child?
Yeah, no, I think, we just took a little break. You were a little bit tired. It's okay, though. We just head out now, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be sleeping whilst we're traveling.
No,
Okay.
that was our fault. We took the break. It's fine. What else were you going to do? Just sit there and listen to us talk? That's boring for you.
Yeah, I've been doing long hours. I'll get you there and have I was asleep before I go back.
That's a good idea.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, if you want to hop back in, we can get going.
All right.
Hop on Zappelli.
Yeah, he
Let's go.
the kid throws an apple over towards you. Juno. You might like it.
Oh, he loves them.
You can see, yeah, Zappelli. All right. And he
Best horse.
pulls at the reins and begins taking off again, leading you guys northward northwest, really, through the Ironwood and along the pathway heading towards the ferry area. He travels on for a good, probably hour and a portion before you start to see the Ironwood actually start to dwindle down. You start to see the thick iron tree trunks that are clearly shimmering in the light start to become normal, almost like pine wood bark, portions at a time. Some of them have like platings of iron still left on them until it starts drifting off and the ironwood starts fading away into a more normal, usual wood that you'd expect. You see the pathway leading off towards Goathag in the north, and the road going west now is bringing you out of the woodland, across open plains of almost very moor-like land, and it's chilly. A sprinkle of snow on the ground as you start kind of passing, and you can see snow that comes down and forms into water on the edge of grass around you, and the grass is very yellowish. In the distance, just over a ridgeline, over a few hills, you can see a small, not even a town, more like a port village, where they're kind of getting the various ferries and whatnot underway. The kid points out and goes, "Oh, that's the place just down there. I'll drop you all off
Right.
nearby, and then doesn't take long, I don't think, the ferry. So.
Have you ever been on it? Did you ever go across the lake?
No, this is the furthest I've
No?
ever gone, is over to this village and then back. Done it a few times though,
Yeah, you did a good job.
and the lady in the inn gives me a beer.
She does.
Wow.
I'm old enough to drink it now.
It's pretty good. Do you like it?
No.
Yeah. That's fair.
He carries along the road and you kind of get the bumpy nature of it where it's kind of turned into more of a dirt path, and eventually as you're kind of coming along the top of this hill, just down at the bottom of this lowered hill, you'd see a few piers pulling out. The ferries themselves are these longboats. Could probably fit half a dozen people on each one of them. They're not very big. There seems to be 2 in dock right now. Some people on the shoreline who are gathering some supplies and food, a few guards walking around, an inn down there, and a few homesteads of people that might be local farmers. You can see there's a bit of fishing. It's like a small fishing village. And you'd see it's not necessarily a place of commerce. You're not going to come here to buy anything necessarily, but it seems pretty lived in. People are walking around, talking to others, sharing drinks and food in the open area. And there's a small stable set up so you can kind of pull your horse along. And you see he pulls alongside that stable and looks down and he smiles at another kid who comes over and goes, good to see you again. How you been? They start having a conversation and whatnot. And he's like, yeah, no, I'm down here. Does your mum still have that ale? And they start talking about that and kind of let you guys go on about your business as you arrive.
He doesn't even like it. So are you you're bringing the horse over the ferry, Juno?
Of course, it's my horse.
All right,
Yes, you made the commitment.
might have to take a separate trip. They
That's
said
fine.
it's small.
There's probably going to be all kinds of extra fees.
I'll cover those. Don't you worry. It's my horse. I'll look after him. He's fine. It's fine.
All good.
All right.
Look, everyone
Hope
needs
he
to
doesn't get seasick.
Oh no, he's a very strong horse. He's going to be fine. Aren't you, Zupeli? Yes, good.
Well,
boy.
we could ask him,
Nothing's
right?
against
If
you.
he's ever been on the boat.
No,
He's
it's
never
fine. I
been on
don't
a
want to
boat.
waste any magical. I know it's going to be okay. He
No,
might
he
be.
will
I'll
be
be with
okay.
him. It's going to be fine.
Everything's going to be fine.
Listen, when one day you're going to be. I'm so glad Zepeli's here. He's gonna save us. He's gonna do something great, and then you're gonna be like,
Wilby's going to kind of pull the rest of the group to the side. There's no way this horse is making it more than another 2 weeks. The amount of
I'm gonna
shit
hear
happens
that.
out here.
I'm gonna look over at Zappelli and I'm gonna be like, Zappelli, you're a great horse. We're really excited you're here.
You should all
gonna
prepare
side-eye
what
you.
you all need to prepare what you're going to say to Juno when they are heartbroken that their horse is dead.
I'm sorry.
I've seen this before.
It is going to be fine. We'll all be fine. You can revive a horse, right?
No, God no.
Are you sure? Have you tried?
I
feel like you
cannot
should
do that.
prepare.
No.
This is a really long conversation we're having away from Juno.
I'm assuming Juno's like just
Juno's just
distracted by
like-
the horse having a good time.
I mean, also Juno has a pretty decent perception check. She's probably
Yeah.
been listening in the whole time, and it's just like they can say what they want. Juno's like, it's fine. I'm gonna look after my horse.
All right, let's see how long
Pessimists,
it's
bunch
going
of
to be.
pessimists. That's what Juno's thinking. Like, get away with these pessimists.
Let's see how long it is till the ferry, yes? Maybe get a
Mhm.
snack or something.
Yeah.
All right. We ask around, see how long till the...
Yeah, a villager
Yeah.
will direct you and say, if you go down to the docks themselves, though, you can talk to Chan. Chan will know.
All right, thank you.
At the docks themselves, they've set up a small, almost like booth, where you can kind of go to purchase tickets or kind of go to purchase some supplies and whatnot. In this open window behind it, you can see there is a couple of humans who are just kind of leaning, one woman, one man, just kind of leaning on the side of the counter, just talking to each other, drinking probably local ale from the tavern. And as they see you kind of approach, the woman kind of taps the guy. Yes, you're looking for the ferry?
We are.
These 2 boats. Get Chan. He gets up and kind of walks around the back. And then instead of coming into the booth itself, you see a Tangit step around the corner. And Tangites are essentially centaurs, but they're half human, half goat. And you'd see, which Eldred, you'd know quite familiar with them because they frequent the mountains around your former home. He's very broad of shoulder, broad of chest. Doesn't wear like a top, half top, kind of open chest. You can see he's very furry. Broad kind of hair that seems to almost intermittently go with a beard and come around almost mane-like. It goes around his head. He has these large kind of curling, pushed forward and then turning at the front goat horns, but quite broad, like nearly the size of a horse. They are taller than just a smaller goat. He steps forward and he takes this little kind of bit of straw that he's chewing and leans down and starts counting you. For the ferry?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, if you were going to go across, then I got about an hour till the next... Well, till that ship goes, and then the next boat will go about 20 minutes afterwards.
All right.
Okay.
Do we need to buy a ticket now, or what do we do? Do we
Yeah, if
pay
you want to
right
buy your
now?
tickets here now, but he looks at the horse. You bringing that thing across?
Yes,
Absolutely.
Pay for
absolutely.
2 for that one, because it will take up 2 slots.
Well, that's fine.
I won't. I'll handle the trip across myself. I'll be skipping a ticket.
Very well. All right, well. Yep, go ahead and... He stops and then he looks towards you, Juno, and Draven. Specifically you, though, Juno. I don't want
Something the
any
matter?
trouble.
Please, sir, I assure you, show off the day. I have no weapons. I am a traveling scholar.
Yeah, eyes Draven.
I mean, I have weapons, but I'm not dangerous to you.
His bite is far worse than his. No. Okay.
Yeah, that's weird. And Draven looks like a human right now. His fangs are not visible.
That was like a half muttered joke. Only Draven probably was like. It was just like.
He leans across to one of the people and he goes, okay. Both of the ferries
there
will go at the
been-
same time.
Has there been trouble or something lately?
I mean, there is a war
around.
starting.
No, I mean specifically right here.
No, because I look after it.
Ugh.
Tell you what, the 2 ferries will go at the same time in an hour and 20. As long as you 2
Alright.
travel on separate ferries, we're fine.
Ha. Sure.
All right, and he kind of moves back towards the dock area.
But doesn't that make... If you're so worried about us and you put us on separate
He
ferries,
stops.
isn't it safer if we're all on the same one? Do you truly see 2 Mesogaians that much more dangerous that they have to be separated from a handful of able-bodied Midgardians? It's a little... not faithful in your own people.
He turns around and goes, if either of you try anything on my ferries, you'll be alone in doing so.
Mm. Sure. All right.
Unless you count thrilling conversation as a threat, you have nothing to worry about.
Kind of smiles and then heads back off towards the dock. The guy and woman behind the desk go, so that'd be 7 in total. Oh no, that one's not doing it, so 6 in total.
Right.
That'd be 3 silver per person.
And for the I have to pay extra for
6 silver
For-
for the horse.
I hand over 3 silver.
Takes it. Your name?
Eldred Haugasmider.
He quills it in. Just say your name when you want to go on board. Next.
Lena. Just Lena.
Lena, just Lena. 3 silver. Takes it. Pops under. Goes through each of you, taking your money and whatnot. Allowing you to purchase your tickets. Hour and 15 now. But if you come back then, try to be 10 minutes early and then they'll set off.
Thank you very much.
Of course. He goes back to kind of... You don't see there's no queue behind you. There's a few people who have already paid. Maybe there's a couple people coming into town interested, but it's not extremely popular as a means of travel. Did you just want to spend the hour here? What did you want to do? Get a
Well, I
drink?
think
Or...
team.
Up to you.
Go get a drink. Grab some snacks, something to eat.
Yeah. See what's going on with the tavern.
Okay. The tavern itself doesn't have a name, as it's just a local kind of one. It's someone's establishment they've just set up. You'd see that it's extremely homely on the inside. It's got very like any furniture they could find and throw together. Chairs mismatch at different tables. There's only one kind of cushioned area, and it's mostly just kind of off on this like old crookedy bench that's kind of like cushions put on top of it. They've got a singular rug over by that section as well. A few of the tables are round, some of them are square. The rectangular one looks like it was broken in half, and they haven't really kind of filed it down properly. And the actual bar itself seems to be like cloth thrown over tables. It's a very makeshift, almost like pub that they've put together. You can see like local sculptures or any like small interwoven straw things they put onto like shelves on the side, and some paintings they've done and kind of put onto the side of just different people in the village to decorate in any homely way they can. It is just a tavern, not an inn. So you won't be able to kind of necessarily purchase a room. You can see that the back room has a door which is locked off. That obviously leads up to their rooms. Plenty of people inside though, buying drinks, chatting, eating. Fish comes into smell. You see, it's pretty much one of the only things they offer here on the menu, and the ale seems to be a singular brand of it as well, a beer more specifically. And behind the counter, you'd see a kind of a very kind of like tall, broad woman with plaited black hair that's kind of pulled all the way back, and she's serving in front of her the boy that led you there, giving him a beer, and he's sat next to his friend. He sips it. Yeah, it's lovely. It's lovely, and they kind of had a little conversation over to the side. But other than that, it's just people all just eating and talking and families and general locals.
Is it late night?
I was actually wondering the same thing.
that?
I was just looking back to see.
The last thing I wrote in my notes last time was evening, comma, late night, comma, on the road.
Yeah, I remember you guys setting out late. So
Yeah, because we did the fish thing and went back and forth, and then we're like,
Yeah.
oh, let's just go, right?
Yeah, I think it would probably be. This is like the winding down hour. Like it's probably like just past midnight, and people are starting to finish off their drinks. Kids are like falling asleep at their family tables, and they're like being picked up to be taken home and whatnot. And people are just spending their night.
That's probably why that ferryman is so paranoid. It's just so late.
That's right.
Worried of ruckus on his ferries.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Sure. I mean, you find people like this everywhere. It's not the first time that's I'm sure. I don't know about you, Draven, but it's not the first time I've encountered somebody who's giving me a hard time because of where I'm from.
No. No, it's not.
I just don't see why he needs to be protective of these boats. Like, what are we gonna do? Or what are you gonna do, rather, of course?
Put
Kill
them all
him.
in one.
Is his concern. He's technically not done anything worth it yet.
Mindless ignorance.
If we killed everyone for mindless ignorance, there would be no one left. All right, we'll get something to drink, maybe.
Yeah, I go for an ale.
Yeah, the barkeep kind of steps over towards all of you. Drinks, we have some food remaining, but it is this morning's catch, so.
Yeah, no. Ale, please.
All right.
Do you have a bucket of water?
For the horses?
Yeah, that'll do.
Sure.
Yeah. Whatever.
Everyone else, ale?
Please.
Sure.
What?
Water.
Again, it's going to be the horse water.
That's fine.
Sure. She slips off, have a keg, pours each one of your ales and pops them out onto the table in front of you. Goes into the back. You can hear her kind of step outside into the open and come back in with a bucket of water.
Thanks.
Pushes a mug into it and pops that in front of you, Draven, and then puts the bucket up on the side. Right, that'll be a total of 2 silver, please.
I pay 1 silver.
I'll pay 1. Got it.
If the kid who drove us there is up at the bar as we're ordering, you're going to sleep here, right? You're not going to just turn around and go back right now in the middle of the night? You're going to sleep? Yeah?
No, I'm going to go back. It's safer at traveling at night.
All right. Just want to be sure you're okay.
Ironwood's more deadly in the day, actually, miss.
Is it?
Yeah. The nocturnal creatures aren't as bad as the ones that wake up in the morning.
All right.
Oh.
That's good to know. Thank you. All right, be safe. You did a good job.
Thanks. Enjoy your beer.
I give him a silver.
Taste. And then his
Don't
friend next to him
spend
goes,
it all in one place.
"You should buy us drinks." That. No, I shouldn't drink more tonight. And he kind of pops it in his pocket. They go back to their conversation where he's talking all about, yeah, I had this great dream. Yeah, and then the other kid's like, no, you didn't. No, it's, you know.
You're talking a load of rubbish, mate. You're talking a load of rubbish.
You can see their conversation dwindles down to just stable hand conversation. Very, very small world conversations where the most exciting thing that happens in their days are the imaginations they've had and the fake fights they've had. And, oh, yeah, I was riding along thinking I was in battle and all this kind of stuff. So.
It's cute.
We've got an hour or so to kill.
Yeah.
Any questions we want to ask each other about our personal lives or our ambitions or anything
Sure, what
like
color
that?
was your mother's eyes? I don't know. I'm just asking a question. This was the first one that popped into my head.
Green, I think, for mine. Same as me.
They're still alive, right? You said they're still.
Yes. My mother and
Yeah.
father are alive and well, as far as I know, in Mesogaia, yeah.
Do you
What
look
about-
more...
You said were as if she was gone.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say that like that. Do you look more like your mother or your father, do you think?
Well, a little bit of both, I think. Probably mother's eyes and got her hair as well. My father has darker hair than I. Mother's complexion, but more of my father's physique. My mother's she's very strong. She was a soldier, so she has a very physical build, whereas my father was a sailor, so he's still strong, but it's more lithe muscle, and I don't know, it's kind of hard to shade. Yeah. What about you? I can't remember. Did we discuss families before?
Not really, no.
No, I don't think
Mine
so.
are alive and well in Gateog.
Getok, okay.
Mine are not.
Sorry
But that
to
is
hear.
okay. It's all right. They had good lives. It was fine.
It's always surprising. Forgive me, Lena, you look so much younger than I realize. You're a bit older, right? Like, I've heard you mention before, you kind of speak about, that you've done a fair bit of traveling and things like that. Not one that I would imagine from somebody who looks sort of your age.
I don't know. I'm a... 43, 44, I don't know, somewhere in there. Ish.
Wow.
Yeah.
Looking good for your age, I say that.
Thank you. Well, that's very kind of you to say, I try. Sometimes I don't try that hard. Sometimes it is, I drink a lot of water. It's good for your skin. It makes you look very young all the time. Yeah, I had well, I guess I had the whole life right before this. Willoughby had 5 whole lives before this. Draven, you had whole life right before you came here. Mine was just a family that I had.
Hmm.
Willoughby had like. Willoughby, what did you do? Were you like adventuring and then you fell into like how?
Boy,
just
I'm not sure I
fell
really
into-
want to go through all of my
You don't have to
pre-Kvistir. That's a longer story.
You
of
don't have to
this.
say it. It's okay.
But I can tell you all of my family and everyone I knew is dead.
Of
course.
right?
By now.
Yeah.
That I can assure you.
Yeah.
That kind of checks. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Is it possible? Did you confirm their deaths? What if one of them was also turned into Kvistir?
Oh
Or
shit.
got
Without you
frozen
knowing.
in magical ice or something.
It's kind of one of those things where you just assume after 400 years they're all dead and you just kind of move on.
Should move on.
They'd probably assume the same of you or somewhere else.
Oh shit.
Okay, Willoughby, you don't have to tell us everything about your, pre-Kvistir life, but I'm quite curious, like Lena said, what exactly were you doing that led you to fall into lava? Like, were you exploring somewhere? Were you on a quest, on an odyssey?
I
you,
was
like,
making maps.
Reading.
Making maps?
I was
You are like an explorer.
Are you a
I would
cartographer?
make maps. I was a cartographer.
That's
I
pretty
was-
cool.
Yes.
Great.
So imagine how much fun it was to not be allowed to travel after I became a
Oh,
Christian.
Willoughby, that's sad
Oh.
for you. I'm sorry.
I'm glad that we can travel a little bit now, but I guess this is all places you've seen. Do you want to go places you've never been before? Is that something that still interests you?
Well, I would love to not be here. To be frank, as much as I enjoy all of your company in comparison to most of the people around here, I would love to not be in Midgard. I'd love to go back to Ethela, especially now that I know that the longer I stay here, the closer I come to death. But now I feel somewhat obligated for now to stick
Maybe we'll
around.
get it all wrapped up fast and then you can go back.
But
Right.
yes, there's not many geographical surprises for me here, let alone in many of the planes connecting the places around here. I was quite a busy bee when I was alive.
Oh, quite a... Well, maybe one day we'll get to take you to Messagair, and then maybe you get to see some places that will be new.
That sounds nice.
I certainly never did go to Messagaia. I tried. If Ethela hadn't completely been severed
Got in the way.
by the planes for a couple decades, I probably would have.
I mean, Ethela sounds pretty cool. I want to go and I definitely would like to visit there one day. It sounds really...
Lots of trees, lots of rocks.
It's really green.
Not as much magic. There is magic, but not as much.
Did you explore it much, or did you kind of just stay in the one area? Did you get to see much?
Oh yes, I charted that whole place top to bottom. It was refreshing
Oh.
after so much time. But it's not, Joe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's not as large as like scale wise as
Midgard?
these planes are. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's much smaller. So it's nowhere near as expansive as this realm. So it only took me a year or so.
Well,
Do any of you have siblings at all?
Dead.
No.
no. Only child for me.
Do you, Draven?
3 brothers, actually.
Were you like
Hey,
in the
brother.
middle? Were you oldest, youngest? Where were you?
We were all born at the same time.
Oh shit. Your poor
Whoa.
mother.
I don't really have a mother.
Oh.
Hmm.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Did you?
I had a grandmother, but no.
Do you
Father,
want to talk
yes.
about this?
There's not too much to speak about. My grandparents are alive, my father is alive. They rule happily together, and my
Sounds
siblings
nice.
help.
How You can ignore this if it's too personal. How were you born?
We were made.
Oh.
We were a gift of the gods, you could say.
You are a boon?
Welcome to the Boon Club.
Yeah. We're basically the spitting image of our father, though.
I was going to ask, are you and your brothers, do you look identical? Are you identical?
No.
No. Okay.
No, we do not.
Born at the same time, but not triplets or anything like that.
It's complicated.
Do you get along with them?
Complicated.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, very
That's
well,
good to have
actually.
family.
They may not be as petty as I am.
You think you're petty?
Oh, absolutely.
Well,
But that's
I know
okay.
that's petty too. That's okay.
They stayed in lavish luxury. Well, I am out here in Midgard.
Why did you
So-
leave? You don't have
You
to
know
answer
why.
that.
Same reason you told us before.
Correct.
You're driven then, ambitious. You had something you
Right.
wanted.
But you're close.
I get it.
I can't imagine what it's like having brothers and sisters. It must be very different to, spending time with parents and tutors and things like that, having people your own age and people that aren't necessarily always looking out after you or telling you what's best for you. Just
Keep in mind, my age is very complicated.
True.
But it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Did you leave anyone else behind, like a partner of any sort?
No,
No.
I've never had a committed partner.
Mm.
Relationships are complicated when you live with
Yeah.
death.
Hmm.
My grandparents have it, but they are very lucky in some ways. My brothers also do things differently, though.
Differently from you?
Yeah.
Like what?
Dua is the one who made me think that the bait might be a good idea, but I'm not Dua.
I totally
Well,
forgot about that bait thing. That was bad.
What
It
does
was
that?
a good
What do you
idea.
mean by that?
His personality is a bit more forward and brash.
Bold.
Yeah.
And he
Do I?
inspires you to do bold things.
Yeah. But he is also a big fan of the ocean.
I quite like the ocean. You don't?
I didn't spend much time there.
I don't want things that you've told me in the past. I'm wary of saying them. I don't want to say anything that gives away. But I remember you saying that you lived somewhere very dry and hot.
Yeah. The ocean is a far dream for some. Just never sought it out.
It's a thing, all right.
I like it. It's nice. I grew up near the ocean. I lived near the ocean with my husband, with my daughter. It was a good place to make a family. It is nice to hear the waves, smell the air. It is good.
I wish I could still love it as I used to, as my father does. But it just terrifies me now.
It didn't always?
No, I used to go swimming and sailing with him when I was little, and then I fell in when we were out at sea,
Oh,
and
Gina.
I sank deep. Luckily, my father, he's a sailor for many years, a very good swimmer, but I had already gone deep to the point where I couldn't see it was just black. And now whenever I just thinking
must have
about
been
it
so
gives me shivers.
terrifying for you.
Hmm?
That's so scary. I'm so sorry. That
Oh,
must
it's-
have been terrifying.
I want to get over it. It's silly, a daughter of a sailor and a soldier being afraid of the sea, a Mesogayan, especially of Altra. But it's just, I know it's not intentional. It is just a reflex that comes up. I just freeze and I just get swallowed by that darkness that I can see around me. But
I think
I want to get better
sometimes-
at it.
Right, your body is going to react before your brain can engage, right? And so you get that sense of fear, of anxiety before you can say, like, no, I'm okay this time. It is really hard to get over that.
That's it. And I'm hoping that the philosophy and the training of my mind, of my body will help. But I know it's something that will just need to come in time, and I can't force it. But it's a shame. Like you say, I love the sound of it. I love the smell of the sea, but it's just seeing it. Just sends a shiver.
Will you be okay crossing the lake
think so.
tonight in the dark?
I mean, in a way that might help. If I look up on the stars and I don't think about it too much, it should be fine. It's more if I go in. Especially once I'm in the water, it's just too much. But I should be okay. Thank you. But, we've got to get across and there's just nothing to do about it. So I'll deal with it.
You'll have Zeppeli to focus on, right? Maybe the
Exactly.
horse will be nervous. You will help take care of them.
Oh, that's what I mean. Definitely.
The
Draven-
barkeep comes over, by the way,
Good.
just quickly, and looks at both you, Juno and Draven, goes, you two are traveling across, all right, then takes your mug and refills it for free, Juno, and then lifts under the bar and gets a kind of a fresh jug of water and pours it into a mug and points it to you, Draven, and says, further north you go, the more worry about the war there is, so you're going to have it hard
Oh.
ahead. You should invest in some furs. A lot of people down here are more kindly to the war. They've met a lot of Mesogaians coming through, but not so much in the north. I still think the war is very much apparent. Careful out there. Goes back to serving someone else.
Thank you.
I'm going to use disguise self and try to make my clothing resemble Thrud's.
Yeah, you can get all the kind of furs and the leathers, and she's got kind of pelts interwoven in there, and you
Yeah.
see your armor kind of fit in well.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I wonder if this will work. Probably.
I recognize that outfit.
Okay. It's not a thing.
It works.
It was a thing. And now it's the past.
Yeah.
Draven's gonna pull out a piece from his journal and write on the paper. And put it in the center of the table visibly, and it says something to think about. If we make prophecies come true, maybe other things will return too. And then he's gonna eat the paper. I don't care about paper ink poisoning, whatever.
I imagine Draven has the constitution to deal with the minor amount of ink.
Paper and ink.
Yeah. If that's his
I-
downfall, then the fates have truly gone.
Yeah.
Maybe. If it's like worshipping gods and gods getting power from worship and that sort of cycle, maybe.
Self-fulfilling prophecy,
Mhm.
so to speak.
It would be nice.
The mortal will
To have
can
things
manifest many
return.
things. Oh, sorry.
What are we doing next?
Waiting
you
for a
like-
boat.
Crossing a ferry in the middle of the night, going to talk to a man about whether or not he's been having sex with a Norn,
Someone.
and asking him intimate details about his relationship to find out where his booty call may be now.
And we go to them then after.
Yeah, why not?
I think
We
we
need
need
to-
to
Pretty
make
much
that
the only
decision.
We need a
direct
thread,
thing
right?
we have to do other than just go down the list of every god and see who we want to get a boon from.
Yeah, I'm on the way. I'm just
And,
going
I
to
mean,
trying to appeal.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of problems going on in the world too. I mean, there's they mentioned tons of problems. I mean, we know that the mother of monsters. We've dealt with them. They're causing trouble. There's problems here in Midgard, but also all over the realms. We could probably do a lot of good. And I don't know if. I mean, I'm going to try and keep things vague here, but I've always believed that no one should be bound by destiny, by fate, that we should make our own choices. Appreciate the...
I would have agreed at a time, but the only thing I find scarier than a normal god is an unpredictable one. And if there's any chance of bringing back the Norns to keep them in line, as far as I'm concerned, that's a good thing. I don't want to just twiddle my thumbs and not do anything about it. Especially if we're some of the only people that may know how to help. Because it's either I do that or I go back to Ethela, where at least I won't die.
I would like to find a way to help you as well, Willoughby, if we can.
Why don't we put your soul in another body?
I'll just do that.
Just got one of those sitting around and a spell to move my soul to another body.
Go back to the guy that was making them, right?
I understand your skepticism, but is that not more reasonable than healing the entire God's forsaken tree of life?
Well, it's not necessarily skepticism. I absolutely believe that the magic does exist. It's a little out of our reach right
Yes,
now.
but it seems more likely a plausibility than curing a tree that contains multiple realms of existence.
Oh, no, I don't exactly... I mean, I was tasked to look for a cure between you and me. I don't really believe there is one, or someone would have found it before me. As far as I'm concerned, at the very least, as long as I leave this plane, I'm not dying, so what happens to Yggdrasil after that is really none of my concern.
It's, I'm just throwing it out here, right? So take it or leave it. I'm just saying. You were one thing, you fell into some lava, somebody, like the gods, whatever, put you into a new body. Do you know who could put you into a new uncorrupted body? Gods. I'm just saying, a boon? Maybe you get a boon and it's a new body. Don't you know? That could be the boon
make
you
a
asked
face
for.
that's kind of grossed out. He would be making one, but he can't, so he's just looking at you totally dead.
Druid craft a frowny face in flowers.
Is the shaking showing that I'm trying to make a face?
Are you trying to... What are you doing right now?
I'm trying to convey a
You're like
slight
almost
amount of
vibrating.
disgust. I just... Look, as much as I hate this body, at least I don't have to suck up to a god to stay in it.
I was just joking. I know you're not going to do
You know,
it.
Willoughby, I think back to what Braggy told me about Pythagoras. If Pythagoras could at least help Braggy's curse, something put on them by a god, it may be possible their Dialogus could help you. If they were able to make someone young when they want to be young and old when they want to be old, it's not implausible that they could give you a new body. If I don't know how their Dialogus works. There's usually rules, and the more complex a Dialogus is, there's normally rules and conditions that need to be fulfilled. But Pythagoras would be one of the greatest. I mean, it could be that if they're still around, that could be an option.
Or like, right, did you know, I don't know how they work, right? But couldn't you, so it sounded like what he was saying is like, oh, Pythagoras was, we were talking and we were theorizing about this, and then I started thinking it, and my thinking this changed me, right? So like...
Somewhat, yes.
You could think yourself not corrupted, not in that manner. Do you know what I'm saying, right? But
It's more like, I mean, I don't know everything, but the way that I've always been taught it, and certainly the way the mind works, is each philosopher has a certain belief. They have certain ideals and questions that they ask themselves. And it is through those that they manifest the dialogus. And the dialogus's power is normally connected in some way. So if Pythagoras's belief is about change, and it is about the way that things work and the way that things are, it may be that their dialogus has the power to change them, to affect them. Golden wisdom is much more straightforward. Mine is the idea that we can accomplish, we can overcome obstacles no matter what. The human spirit is greater than the obstacles that we face. That's why that she's so much more direct and physical and fights in that sense.
Oh my God. That made no sense to me at all.
That's fine. It's okay. Basically, please.
I don't feel like a Mesogaian figure is the best for this. We have met someone who is making Kvistir. He could potentially make a separate body for Willoughby.
You just go back to that guy.
I did not hear you say that at all. Did you say that?
Okay.
Also, is that one of those times when I was a little bit foggy and wasn't quite... Is that when we met them? Yeah, oh, yes, now I remember.
So.
Yeah,
Yes, well, you were kind of staring straight ahead, drooling.
It's okay. We all walked up to say hello, and you stood behind, like you were thinking really hard about something.
You know, philosophy, it sometimes gets in there, and I get very distracted. But yeah, okay. No, yeah, I forgot about that guy. That's true.
Well, I'm open to options. At the end of the day, though, moving to another Kvistir body is kind of a side grade, possibly a borderline downgrade, aside from the fact of poisoning. I've seen a lot of the newer models.
You don't want to make a lateral move. You want to move like
I'd rather move to a body that has skin and can, I don't know, pee if I wanted to, because like I said before, I still feel like I gotta piss all the time.
You'd want to be like a human, or would you like to be like
You'd
a
lose
bear
your immortality?
Well, that's the thing. I'd like it up. That losing my immortality would be kind of like a
downgrade.
Yeah. I'd like an upgrade to some kind of immortal-esque body.
Flesh and blood that can pee, but still immortal.
It's not out of the realm of possibility to find something like that. It's just kind of
like, what do you want to look like,
reach
though?
right now.
How could you do that without boons?
I don't know. I wouldn't be picky. I'll tell you that. If they were ugly, I would probably go with it. Because
really
frankly,
short
I'm not
or had
gonna...
like a hunchback, you'd be okay with that. It's fine. Immortal hunchback, but you could pee. So
I could pee.
Yeah.
I mean, that right there is almost enough to go with the ugliest motherfucker I've ever seen.
That's good to know. We'll keep our eyes open for an immortal body you could upgrade to.
Yeah, I'm sure we could just find one of those laying around. It's not like I've been around long enough to peek around and look for options.
I should go.
Oh, is it time for the ferry? Is that what you mean? It's very shit.
Yeah, sure. Not how you've all been describing a strangely similar circumstance to me sitting here.
Do you have any like bodies lying around?
I don't really know all your circumstance. I'm sorry, that was rude of us then.
Also, you're not ugly. Don't say that about yourself.
He said that wasn't ugly.
Yeah, but then we switched to it would be okay. Ugly with hunchback, but could pee. Do you pee?
Do you pee?
Very important questions. Really getting into the inner workings of each other's here.
Is it red?
Ew.
I mean, I guess how much? I guess yes. Does it? I guess it does. You've mentioned that you gain nutrition, but do you still need to hydrate with water and things? He's making that face.
I like to think Eldred is just quietly cracking up to herself.
Let's talk about family, Draven. Tell them about your brothers, Draven. Do you
Your brothers?
piss, Draven?
Hey,
Oh, that one's easy though. Come on.
You know
Yeah.
what? You know what?
hey, you're always saying that we don't talk to each other.
That's
it's just
true.
we're getting to know.
Much less personal than how were you born?
Yeah, now I'm gonna be
Happy?
thinking. I'm
Eldritch
just gonna be
Peace?
thinking about it, and that's gonna freak me out for the rest of the week.
No.
You want to change the sub? Oh. Oh.
Oh, well, deal breaker for that one.
Yes, I pee. What the fuck are you talking about?
Back on the table.
No.
These are important things for Willoughby to know. You know,
My
he's really
God.
got to know what his options are.
You don't know
I hate
options.
all of you so much.
Draven, is there something else you want to ask us all? You can ask another question. No? You want to change subject to ask something else?
Literally nothing I want to know about you people anymore.
Fair. I think that's fair.
I think plausible deniability might save my life in the future. Gosh.
There.
And with
Actually, yes, I changed my mind. Will you ever trust any of the gods?
Like me personally, or all of us?
Trust me.
Any of you? This is not a loaded question. If you feel like you have to seek more interpretation, I'd say the answer is a no. Do you feel like you can trust any gods?
I feel like there's like one or two. It's a short list though. But that's because I'd only trust ones that I've met
I trust
like-
Ekate
to some extent.
in that I literally have faith in her. That is definition of trust, right? To believe in her without confirmation.
That's a great question. Is belief the same as trust? Can you believe in someone and not trust them? You
Yes.
could believe in
I
them to
think
be
you
what they
can.
are. Yes, I
I
think so.
believe
But
that the gods exist. I have seen several of them, right? We know that they exist, but to trust them, I think that for me personally, trust is earned, and I don't know that they have done anything really to earn that trust.
Mm.
They might. They
I
haven't
don't-
really yet.
I don't trust Ekate like a close friend or a family member, but I choose to believe what
That's a
she stands for and decides.
Do you trust people more than gods?
As a whole,
Yes.
Yes,
Probably.
I do.
I think that
I'm
people
more quick to trust humans, yes.
are easier to understand than the gods.
But humanity, mortal creatures, they choose their free will. A god will be what a god is.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, I am mortal, right? I have my own lived experience, and I see the experiences of those around me, but the gods are in many ways unknowable, right? And they
Oh,
don't
but I would say they are knowable in ways that humanity cannot be as well.
have that nature. But also, I don't really trust people. I trust Eldred. You three, I'm learning to trust as well.
Do you trust the gods any different than a king? Is it not two people with unimaginable power?
I am reluctant to trust everyone equally about that, whether god or king or beggar or shopkeeper or whatever.
Do you wish that that were different sometimes, Lena? That seems awfully lonely.
I think maybe I was always a little apart right? From people, but it wasn't always like this. As I said, right? I was married. I had a family, and I trusted him. I trusted my daughter. But no, now I like to wait and see and let people show me who they are. And it's not that I don't want to say like I don't have a dim view of everyone, right? I don't just think everyone is totally shit. But because people are people, right? People are complex and different. And I want to give them the space and the grace to be who they are. But maybe I am not so willing to open up right away till I can see who they are, right?
Put yourself at risk.
Yeah.
Draven's gonna go get a nail and come back with it. And he takes a heavy swig before he asks, would you trust me less if I was the son of a king, then?
No. I trust what I know of you so far. I think you are a little bit odd, but I think you are very forthright. And I respect and appreciate that you speak your mind. And I like that, and I find it refreshing. I don't have a problem with the gods in general because they are gods, right? It is because what I have seen in my experience is not always their best side, right? And it leads me to be skeptical in general. And maybe that is not fair, and maybe that is what I will find out, and I'm willing to be wrong on this. But I feel like for a good portion of my life, I did things right. I did what I was supposed to do. And I still have the coin out, and I'm kind of holding it a little tighter. I listened, and I was faithful, and I raised my family, and all of that was taken in a moment of capriciousness, in a war between two idiots that will probably be an eternal war between them because they disagree fundamentally on things, and we got in the way. And it makes me perhaps untrusting to know that in the blink of an eye, a different god could make an equally capricious move and wipe out another village, right? Without even thinking about it. It's just dangerous. But again, I'm willing to be wrong. They can prove me wrong. Anybody can prove me wrong.
The only difference between a god, a king, and a man now is technically a title.
How trusting are you, Draven? Do you trust people easily, do you think?
I like to give everyone a chance to do something good or right, or prove to me that they are good in some way. I try. Sometimes I fail. Sometimes I am my father's son. And sometimes I am my grandmother's grandchild. And they are very different.
Which do you like to be more?
Who I was before I was Draven. And he takes a big old swig.
This was not your name, given.
No. And he drinks more.
Ah. Okay.
I don't want
I've
to
asked
cry
you too
further.
many personal questions today. I'm leaving it.
But another time, perhaps. I've learned a lot. I think it is nearing time for the ferry.
You can see most of the tavern is now kind of cleared out as the families have gone to their beds. It's well past midnight now. Been in there for about an hour. And the barkeep is kind of cleaning up.
Finish my drink.
I did say to be about 10 minutes early, so...
That is true. Let us go get the ferry in the middle of the night.
Yes, I better get a head start.
Yeah, okay. Yep. I'm just, you know what? He's gonna do his thing. It's cool.
You're just going to cross on your own, yeah?
Yep.
I'm turning into a fish.
Hope there's nothing in the
But why is there
water.
not- I think
It'll be fine.
Don't say that. Why would you say that? Why would you say that? Nothing is fine with us. Nothing is fine. I accepted that days ago. You said it twice.
Everything's going to be fine.
The road was fine with the boy. You know, we got a message.
The only
Nothing went
reason
wrong.
that fucking big ass fish even came after us because of that bait. You know what I mean? And
It
we
was
walked
a good
near the
idea.
coast. We basically begged that fish
we did.
to grow legs, crawl out of the water,
Oh
and
no,
kick at
fish,
us.
don't try to
We
eat
kick-
us.
We beat that fish.
We
Sounds
sometimes
dirty.
welcome a lot of shit our way. And you know,
How else can we grow? If we don't challenge ourselves, how else do we grow?
Time.
No.
I would just like it to be less like as bodies in the future. Can we
Oh.
definitely not do another bait tactic
Do you-
again? I just don't want that again.
Okay, well, next time we just won't use bait. Yeah? Is that what you're saying? You don't?
Well, we can
Well,
use
if we
bait,
find
just
the
not,
body.
If we
Yeah. That's just.
That's
just
not the
good.
part
That's
that
not
I
use
take
of
issue with.
resources.
It's mainly just using the body as bait in general that I think is the
You
sort of-
don't like bait.
Why?
no. The
So you
bait
weren't
is fine. It's just tossing
people as
a
bait.
dead corpse full
He
of
was dead.
goo into the. This is
Just
something awfully.
unsanitary for using
it's-
the water, or
I think it was
Well,
smart
that too,
use of
apart, and also
resources
just-
again.
I don't know, kind of twisted. Kind of.
why? The soul is no longer attached to this body, and they're not using it.
How about next time we think we might
That's an
want bait? We
expert
could
right
talk
there.
about
I mean,
it.
I can't argue with that.
True.
It is only helping us. It's helping other people to use it to kill this monster by it's serving others after death. It's the best way to use the body. Really, it's probably the best thing that man ever did.
I see. I've opened up. I see. I've uncorked something here for. I don't want to discuss this anymore.
No, it's okay. We don't have to. Do we know how long the ferry ride is? Like how long it takes? Joe, do we know?
Are you
Do
asking me
we-
that? Okay, yeah, I didn't know.
yeah.
It'd probably take you the better portion of the night. It'd take a good
Oh shit.
4 hours or so
A
travel
few
on there.
hours. Okay.
5 hours travel.
All right. All right. Let's go. Have a safe swim, Willoughby.
Thank you.
Like, if you can, you know, like flip up and preach, and then we will know you are in trouble. Are you going to be like a trout? What are you going to do?
We'll go do a new thing.
Oh, a new thing. All right. Okay, we'll come up with a good signal if you need us. We'll dive in. and
Flexing
out.
my new magical powers since I got closer to Yggdrasil, feeling some new Some new
Oh.
moves, you know what I mean?
No, but I trust that you know what you mean, and it is going to be cool. All right. let's go.
Sure.
Stay within 40 feet or so, eh?
Sure.
And I will speak telepathically into your mind.
Hmm.
For the next hour at least, you can respond to me.
Oh, this is
in-
creepy. What is this?
Sorry. Yeah.
I think Wilby will say that out loud.
I'll say out loud.
Ooh,
So I
got chills. I didn't even know I could still feel chills.
Oh,
that
congratulations.
usually
Exciting.
happens the first time. Yeah. I figure the last time I left Lena alone, she disappeared, and
sorry.
I had no way to communicate with her. I'd rather not get separated and not know how.
I will be within arm's reach of the boat, rest assured.
Okay, well, even in a swimming form, you'll be able to speak with me.
Very good. This is exciting. What a fascinating ability. How long have you all been using this? Am I the last one to find out?
Using what? What are you talking
I
about?
have no idea what you're speaking about.
Well, that's been.
Is this a spell
my
that
life.
Eldred has got or something? Some prayer?
You know what, Juno? I have something cool to show you on our boat, actually.
Okay.
I'm
Sure.
gonna.
No, we have to get separate boats, Draven. The racist
So-
man won't let us go on the same boat
Hey,
together.
he's not racist. He's just culturist. It's
That's
like,
right,
it's
sorry.
just as bad.
As they're
Yeah.
talking to each other, I'm going to I'm gonna take an action, and I can do 2 creatures at once because it's up to my proficiency bonus. I will say in Juno and Draven's minds. It is just we could talk without talk. We can just talk without like in our minds without.
How long has this been a thing?
What
Why
the
are they
fuck?
staring at each other?
No,
over there?
Draven says what the fuck out loud. 100%. The hell is this? What the...
It's just a thing. It's different. I think I do it differently
But
than
you both-
Eldred
But
does.
you both do it.
Yeah, hers is different, but yes.
Wait, what are you talking about?
I don't.
What?
Please don't says to Draven.
Oh, I can't. It's not that
What the hell
it's
are
just
you people?
a useful. It is a useful thing for it.
Have you always been able to do this?
Well, yes.
So you,
For a long time, not like when I was a baby, but for
And
a very long time.
Draven can talk back, right? Like,
Yeah.
and you hear it in your head?
Yeah.
I
need to roll a die to see for how long, but it's a number of hours up to the die that I roll. But I can do 2 people right now aside from me.
Draven is going to say out loud, I appreciate knowing that we can do this. Also, if there's information that we need to share and we don't need to share it out loud, this is a great thing that now we can share with each other.
For
Look
sure.
at Eldred,
Yeah.
like
So, yeah, this is just something. Yeah, I don't know exactly what she was just saying, but
oh, I did the thing that I
We
did
can
Yeah.
all
the
infer.
day
Well,
for
hers
you.
and I
I'm
are-
sorry, yeah.
a bit different. Mine was since I was like 11 or 12,
Yeah,
and,
mine is not like that.
and it'll last for a while. You can respond whenever, and we can talk whenever, as long as we're close by and see each other. So
Draven is stressed. He's going to use Divine Sense. Just
don't bring it up often because people freak out.
I'm gonna come clean. I can also talk to animals. I've been able to talk to them ever since I became a Kavista. Most of them are honestly cooler than people. Between you and me.
Can you talk to like butterflies and stuff too? Like any animal at all? Like
Oh, actually,
You know,
yes.
I've had ghosts flying around me and fighting for me, and you did not bat an eye.
Oh, I'm
And
fine
this-
with that. Yeah, I'm
Yes,
fine with
that's
that.
going to, yeah. I mean,
This you freak. Why?
from
is
the
always
few
this?
things that we've learned about Draven, I'm not surprised that doesn't freak him out.
Oh, yeah, no,
I
I
grew up hearing the whispers of the dead, and no one in my village gave a shit. But the moment I told them that I could speak to them in their minds and they could speak back to me telepathically, suddenly they freak out.
Yeah, because it's normal for gods to do shit with dead stuff.
It's
The people who speak in their heads are gods usually. Is one of us secretly a god? Is that what you're telling me? It's you.
Ooh, we're going back to that thing where
What?
we thought one of us was Loki, but then it turned out
So,
none of us were Loki.
Are you trying to tell
It's
right
not
now?
that uncommon. I just didn't know that's what was happening. I've heard of this before. This is a thing that I know. I'm actually the opposite to Eldred, where the freaky ghost magic was what was freaking me out. This I'm okay with. Now that I know that this is a thing, this is fine. But the creepy ghost hands and freezing screams of the dead, that was maybe a little. I knew like nobody wants to Hades stuff but speaking in the mines, yes, I've known students at the academia who could do similar things. So
For the record, I don't think I have any access to the Soul's Hades watches.
No, but it's like you hear stories of Hades growing up and the screaming souls and the bones and the skeletons and
Right, but that's just people without bodies.
Yes, I suppose, but I mean, the stories I were told made it a lot scarier, Eldred. It was, it was a frightening thing. It wasn't told in a that's. How do I put this?
Hades is okay.
Yeah, I mean it is, but when you're little and the stories they tell you, it's scary. They make it scary and spooky and
Very handsome.
Because they tell you it's spooky.
well, yes, and you're all little, so you believe them.
What did you say?
It's just so foreign to me. I just don't see why death would be spooky. I grew up around dead bodies my whole life. It's just.
I think that I grew up around, sailors and swords and things like that. So maybe it's just a cultural thing. I don't know what did Draven say something? Willoughby's really freaked out.
Hey, I do not.
Draven.
He looks at you, Willoughby. Just goes.
I just don't want to start a whole other thing. He didn't say anything.
Okay. Well, anyway.
I hand him the rest of my water.
I don't think any of us are. I
I
don't think we're gods, so that part is easy, right? Nobody here is a god.
Your
We're
divine sense
fine.
doesn't pick up any celestials.
Cool.
Fiends, however.
Well,
And Faye.
try it again, but try
And
something
undead. Yeah, is there any flag on the undead there, Joe? Just to check that nothing in divine sense gets picked up. Nothing at all, right?
No, you're all good.
Okay.
I
Nice.
didn't like that fucking smile. Look at that
No.
little smile.
You're all good.
I mean, technically, Draven, you know what you are, but
Yeah.
everyone else
Right,
doesn't
there
shine
we
like
go.
you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Okay. All right. Well, we know that this is a thing. We'll use this to our advantage in the future, like Draven said. So, no more freaking out.
Sure.
Sure.
Okay.
I won't freak out. It is fine.
Okay.
Are we good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go to the ferry. Did you hiccup? Are you okay?
No, I just said yup.
You know,
Okay.
Willoughby, I gotta say, somehow it's just you always seem to get me. You pay too much attention.
Yep.
Also, Juno, I think we're gonna be on the same boat. They're on one boat, and then we're on one boat, is my understanding.
No, I think you two are separate because he doesn't
That's
trust
I remember.
you.
Yeah, that's how I mean. If maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I remember him saying, that he wanted us
Yeah.
separately so
Now
that we
you
were
can
less
team
dangerous.
up.
Yeah, he wanted to isolate you two so that if you caused a scene, they would be able to easily dispatch you alone.
Maybe they're going to
Exact
try to
thing
like
you
hit
described.
you with a barge pole or something. Like I don't. What are they think they're going to do?
Hope so.
You hope
Actually,
someone hits
I
you?
want to find him. I have something to talk with him about.
Do you have
Okay.
something
Yeah,
to
you can
talk
definitely find him
to
down by the dock.
Yeah, I'm gonna go find him.
This is just a talk, right? This is I have something to talk
Talk
to you
to
about.
No, I want
Kinda.
to ask if he has a family.
Ah,
In
Are
a
you going to
perfectly friendly way.
Yes. Okay, bye.
okay, bye.
Leaving him to it.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's gonna follow me.
Yeah, they're prepping the two ferries. You see a few people who are kind of sat there waiting for their turn. Some people napping on the ferry themselves, getting them ready to go. You'd see the Tangeet down by there. He's kind of just sorting out stuff. He's not coming with, so he's like, right, make sure that you take that bit. And when you get to the other side, make sure that they steer the third ferry back. We're going to need it for the morning trip, okay? And he turns and sees you, Draven.
I have a question.
Sure.
And like, how old does he look? Could I relatively assume?
If he was human, he'd probably be in his late 30s. Hard to say
Okay.
whether that translates
Yeah.
into their species, but
You fear for your own, don't you? You, your family, anything involved, right? I see it in your eyes.
what's it to you?
And Draven leans in. Because the thing you fear most isn't what's going to stab you in the back. That's the one you want watching it.
And I toss him 2 gold coins and I walk away. Back to the others.
Take care of your family. And get your prejudices fixed. It makes you look stupid and weak.
And he goes back to the bar.
You see him staring, kind of a moment that that person probably hasn't had. You can see that they've not probably met many people from Asgard in general. So it's just a complete ignorance of a kind gesture. And he pops it away. One of the people here, as you kind of walk off, you hear one people come across to him and go, should we separate? No. Let them go whatever they want to go on. I'm going to turn in. He kind of wanders off towards his home.
You have so much money. Like, I gotta just do something with it.
I don't want to carry
Oh,
this anymore.
careful! You fucking. That's how it starts, and then Joe
Well, Joe's
gives you a
gonna get
fucking
you.
casino later to go to, and you'll
Yeah.
have nothing. You gotta save
Did
it.
you think Draven falls Oh, yeah, he probably did.
Gotta
From the
save
gambling.
it. Casino episode,
I had to
dude.
think about it.
I was gonna say yes, absolutely. I can see
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Gambling, it's not about the money, it's about the joy. It's about
It's about the rush.
it's a rush.
There are 2 of these like smaller longboats set up. They have a series of kind of seats where a couple of people are assigned to row the oars, but they do have sails, just a single sail, which you can hear once you get down to the lake. The lake is long; you can't really see to the other side. It's many miles across, so it does have its own kind of breeze. You can see the wind is hitting pretty fast on kind of a southwestern wind, and they're prepping up both the ferries. In terms of civilians, there seems to be 1 going on one of the 2 boats, and then 3 going on another. So, if each one of these can fit roughly around 6 or 7 people, what would you like to go? They're going to go at the same time, so they'll be within kind of range of one another. But which one would you like to go on? There's the one which has 4 people on currently, including like the rower, and the other one has 2 on, including the rower.
If we do the 2, we can technically fit the 3 of us and then the horse. Probably.
There'll be 4 of you plus the horse.
Oh.
I will go where I need to go with Zappelli. You guys go where you need to go. I will go with my horse.
If you're going to go with Zappelli, you can either go on the 2-man and there'll be still a bit more room, or you can go on the other ship
Idea.
and it would just be you and Zappelli.
How about
Go on the
this?
2.
Yeah.
Go on 2. Fine. Okay.
Yeah, so one of
Or-
us can come with you.
I can go
Yeah.
with Juno.
I can go separate from Draven and Juno because they could fuck to me in the head.
Oh, I totally
That's so
forgot about
scary.
that.
Yeah, I'm
Right,
fine
so
with that.
Juno and Draven, and then Eldred and Lena.
I think we're doing swap it so that they can speak in minds,
Mhm.
right?
Gotcha.
Like if Eldred and I are together, we could tell each other what everybody else is saying, and then they could tell, right? We're like the switchboard connection.
I hate the fact that Joe is asking
Operator.
specifically where people
know.
are, because if it didn't matter, he wouldn't ask us.
Right.
Right.
Yes,
He'd
he
just be
would.
like,
Just
yeah, yeah,
fucking-
He
you.
would actually. He might.
Yeah, I check for bandits in the fucking tree line.
Yeah, I check
I
the,
check for rogue boats that could intercept our
As I pull
ferry
my-
in the water. But
As I'm ready to get on the boat, I'm gonna poke it with a stick to see if it's a mimic. I'm gonna do a perception check. For
I
the
check
other
to see
people
if it's
on the
actually
boat.
Kavistir in boat form.
Yeah. Can we just roll a series of checks to make sure
Yeah,
these boats
wisdom
are okay?
saves for the fucking meta psychic
When
damage
do
you're
you
about
get
to take.
boat? When does Willoughby get boat form? Is that going to be
Yeah.
like a boon unlock? Is that when we're going to get wagon Willoughby and boat
Oh
Willoughby?
shit, that's when we can get the cart. Tomato, you
And then
have to
he
do
can-
it.
He can combine with
mean he
4
has
other
to-
Kavistir
He
to make
doesn't
a
have
giant
This isn't a
Kavistir.
thing.
It is a thing. That's gonna be the
probably his
boon.
own self boon. He doesn't need gods for that. That's
What a
probably
what
he
a
gets
sad
from God.
evolution of my character. Instead of getting stronger, I just become more and more of like a fucking vehicle for the
Yeah,
party.
it's like
gets to be
I'm
the
a raft
Transformer.
now. Now I'm a
Sad.
full boat. Like, I start
Um,
off as a wheelbarrow. Now I'm a full wagon.
So just to clarify, Juno and Zappelli are going on the 2-man with Eldred or Lena.
With
With-
Draven, right?
Pushes Draven.
Yeah,
Can
they
we do
can all
that?
go together because me and Eldred can go together, and then we can tell each
Okay,
other what everyone
yeah,
else is
okay.
saying.
So yes, that's yep.
Yeah. So Draven, Juno, Zappelli in one place,
Okay.
Eldred and Lena in the other.
I thought you guys wanted
Yeah.
to separate you two because you could talk in mind.
No, because then we can
Oh,
tell
because you
each
can tell
party.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
took me a second too.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure. All right, yeah. They start loading up the ferries to kind of set forth across the water. How are you traveling, Willoughby?
Willoughby submerges into the water, wild shapes into an octopus, and just sticks to the edge of the fucking boat.
Okay, sure.
Underneath the water.
Sure.
I don't even have to swim. This is
I'm not.
great.
He's not. Look, I'm not paying because I don't want to break a gold into silver and have to track that. I would rather wild shape
Genius.
for it.
Yeah, and you stick to the bottom of the boat itself. They kind of call out, "All right, time to set forth. You ready to go?" Yes. One sets forth first. They pull down the sails. They kind of row a little bit out. You see it catches the wind and slowly starts drifting. The other one pushes down the oars and gets it moving as well. You start drifting. Which ship are you attached to, by the way, Willoughby? Just curious.
Ooh, probably the one with. Honestly, I'll just do a 1d2 because he probably
Sure.
just wouldn't carry. Probably just go underwater and just pick one.
On a 1,
So,
it'll be the Draven and Juno. On the 2, it'll be the Eldred and Lena.
Yep.
Okay.
Eldred Lanus.
Oh, I should roll a psionic energy die. Hold on. I got 5 hours on that.
Okay. You can hear the wind picks up the further out you go, and as you begin kind of sailing outwards, you start to see the land disappear behind you. It's now probably about 1, 2 a.m. and the boats start picking up quite a bit to a point where they can lift the oars and just let the wind kind of carry them, steering the ship. You see, as you kind of go along, Mirror Lake is named for its very reflective water. It catches the starlight and catches the sunlight, well, moonlight in this regard, pretty well. So you can see your reflections shimmer below, and extremely clear water for the first kind of 20 feet or so before the light just dissipates into it. At probably around the 2-hour mark, the wind suddenly alters. And your boats start drifting in a southerly direction. But the sails aren't turning to catch the wind. And the water almost seems like it's streaming. But instead of tipping the boats, it's kind of drifting them along southward. On your boat, Juno and Draven, the oarswoman's like, "What the? Looks bad. What's going on with you?" The other guy shouts, "They're about probably the boats were probably about 50 feet away from each other. Kind of tries to push his oar in, and it snaps in the water. On your ship, Lena and Eldred, you see the person holding the oar. He's wearing a helmet. He's wearing kind of armor himself, lightweight leather. He goes, "Oh no! Oh no! 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 No!"
Oh no.
What?
He lifts up the
What?
oar. Yeah, the Lady of Mirror Lake. She's drawing us in, but we don't have a gift. She doesn't usually.
Wraith?
Sorry?
Wraith?
No. The Lady of Mirror Lake. She's this. We give a gift once a month, but it's too early.
A gift of what?
An animal, usually something.
Here we go.
It can be a creature. She.
You motherfucker. Don't you fucking do this to me.
He didn't even waste a fucking session before he's killing off this horse.
I didn't put two and two together. I didn't put two and two.
And this is happening on Eldred and Lena's boat that he's saying this.
Yeah,
This
that
guy's
guy's
saying
your
this, yeah.
orsman's like, what's going on?
Oh, ours. So, sorry, I thought ours and theirs was shifting
Both
south.
of them are
So it's
shifting.
ju-
It's their guy
right.
talking to
I'm
them.
gonna tell
right.
that to Juno and Draven. There's a lady in Mirror Lake. They give her a gift once a month. It's usually an animal. He thinks that's what it is.
Is that why our boat driver is freaking out? I'm not looking at the lake. I'm just looking
Joe.
up at the
Don't
minute.
look at the lake. It's fine.
I'm gonna ruin you, Joe, and it might not work, but I'm gonna do it anyways. You remember 4 sessions ago,
Mm-hmm.
I took a wolf carcass. I want to just toss that fucker into the lake.
Dude pulled the
Into the
4
lake?
sessions ago. I did something card, dude.
I
There
wrote
is.
it down. 'Cause we killed it when we were in the woods before
Oh
Greg.
yeah, we did.
You throw into the lake.
Yeah.
Hits the water. Floats for a moment before like drifting up and down on the water as it drifts.
This
Both
is
keep
old.
drifting.
Well, did everything I could.
Did you say that they want an animal sacrifice?
The oarsman on your boat goes, "Oh no, this is her. This is her. Oh god. Oh god." And he runs and he jumps into the water.
What the
Just-
fuck?
Does
That should
Willoughby
count?
see this?
You know, good favor, can
Under
I
the water?
bite you and suck your blood?
You stop him from doing it?
Oh, no, I asked Juno if I can drink her blood.
Oh, Juno, sorry. I meant this. guy.
Why? What? Why do you want to drink my blood?
It's
Hey.
like a jolt of adrenaline. I'll heal it, I promise.
When Lena messages them, I want to message Willoughby
I
and
guess.
just be like, if you can't hear from down there, apparently some lady of the lake is pulling us towards her and wants an animal sacrifice.
Oh, is that why I just saw some guy from the other boat? I think just
They're
dive
very
into the
scared.
water.
You'd see underneath the water, that guy's trying to swim against it and he's getting dragged and pulled in the same direction.
What a dummy.
And he's tumbling
Oh, yeah.
underwater.
I think if Lena and Eldred look over, Juno is just like, right, takes her fucking scarf off, puts it like in a bag, is like cracking her knuckles, and it's just like, you're not fucking getting my horse. I just got this fucking horse. It's my friend, and you're not having it.
Ferryman, what can we do? What is if this is what it is? What do we do?
She procreates with animals. She
Oh.
creates new creatures of the lake, but they leave us alone. She's peaceful. I don't understand. This is not the. You start to see as these rocks come into sight, large jutting ones from the water. You see underneath the water, Willoughby, is they're kind of. What's your range of sight underneath the water, Willoughby? Is it for an octopus?
30 feet of dark vision. It doesn't say anything about normal sight, so I think it's just normal sight.
You can
Otherwise,
see shifting underwater the definitely where the light has like completely been blocked out. Large rockery and kind of underground, underwater foliage and kind of flora that's going to grow and across it. And I don't know. As you come closer, the wind stops entirely, and the water goes still. You see these like half eel, almost like dog-like creatures leaning up on top of the rocks nearby. And they're chewing on fish. And on the top of the largest rock, you can now see underwater as well. There's schools of fish swimming around these rocks, Willoughby. Large, gnashing teeth as they go around it. They seem to have one singular eye each. And you see this mermaid-like creature, large, probably a good 13 feet long, push herself forward. Definitely heavier. A bulbous face with these great big eyes without lids. Fish bulbous eyes. Hair kind of strawn back. Her mouth opens. Mother grows in need of another gift. Turns her head, looking across both of the boats. You will provide to the Lady of Mirror Lake. And all of the hounds, the eel hounds, are yapping as she leans forward, gazing down at both your boats. That's where we'll end tonight's session. With you
Okay.
about to converse with a rather peculiar mermaid.
Let's say I didn't throw my wolf yet.
She can't mate with that.
You don't. Hey, she never said a.
We don't know yet.
Never
We
mind.
just said hi. We don't know yet.
Retcon. Love it.
I just want to look. Look, I was overzealous. That might be more valuable meat as a cloak. You just basically said Ursula popped out of the lake. Let me go cake you to my mom. Nah, B. Draven is not gonna bite that bullet. I'll do a lot for this party. Not that. If it turns out she's
Draven's
fine
not
though,
alive.
I'm gonna be pissed.
I fucking can't believe this guy's trying to kill my horse. I've only just got it. I can't fucking believe
I
it.
promise you, I had this encounter planned for like 3 or 4 weeks. Before the horse was even remotely a character. And I never put 2 and 2 together that you might have an animal on board. I swear. So when you said it, I didn't even think about it. When you said this motherfucker, I was like, wait, what is it? Oh. Don't worry, you don't have to, there's options.
You don't
there's a
have
chance.
to. It's just
Ursula wants my fucking
would
horse. She's
technically be our
catching
easiest.
some fucking hands before
Yeah,
that
dude.
happens.
I mean,
fastest.
she
You
wants
know,
the
we're
horse for the.
solution.
Pretty spent or anything right now.
But like,
I mean, we never officially long rested after the last
No.
fish fight, did we? Yeah, no.
what's your mom
enjoyed
like
that
though?
race.
What's your mom
No.
like though?
We did not long rest. People
fully
could have technically
spent.
short rested at some point.
I'm like, hold on,
like,
but
though?
we haven't seen the mom yet though. Like, let's just put that out there.
I
Like,
can show you guys what
we
she
haven't-
looks like if you like.
I
Okay,
thought she
great.
was
Is this
referring
is
to
this
herself
is this
as
yeah? I think
mother.
is this the Lady of Mirror Lake? Like she is the creature, or is she saying that she's gonna take us to see?
Oh, she seems
Is
nice.
she calling herself
I'll
mother?
show chat next week.
whoa.
Oh.
Oh my god.
She took the time to put a bra on before
That's-
she like went to work. She's like, well,
that-
hold
Yeah,
on.
you can see it
That's
next
the one-
week.
That's the one who procreates.
Yes.
Never mind.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I thought
I'm
so, and you're
fine.
like, oh, maybe she's fine. I was like,
It's not even the look. Y'all see it. It's not even the looks. It's the eyes that
Yeah.
makes it worse.
The eyes are.
it's the fish face.
I mean, that's
it's
a
the
little
fish
different.
face.
Yeah.
Bulbous kind
You
of
got to be
eyes.
gazing into those eyes.
Often people talk about the top half fish and the bottom half fish, but this one's very much the head fish and bottom half fish with just the human
This is
in
the middle
between.
part.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah,
it's a
middle
weirder
part
combo. It's
person.
none of the good combos.
It's like, I mean, I don't know. Don't say all that. I'm just saying it's just mainly the eyes.
Yeah,
Also,
fair
the
enough.
eyes are kind of like here, so you'd have to like. She's gonna have to keep turning her head
She-
to like look you in the eye.
She looks like a dream for Loki, TBH.
Yeah, that's fair.
They
That's
both
fair.
fuck
Yeah.
animals.
Let's call him.
Well, chat, you can find out
Well.
what the Lady of Mirror Lake looks like next week on Mistletoe. Thanks everyone for playing as per
What
usual.
a fucking tease.
Yeah, welcome to
Thanks, Joe.
the overarching kind of background plot of building up with boons and fights and the way the fates and whatnot have gone and how that will affect the world. It'll be exciting to see
on.
what you guys look into. It lets you basically gives you the open option of if you want to go around town saving and people saving and doing heroic kind interactions. This almost the 7 labors of Hercules you can, whilst also making very much sense for the world plot. Let's go and do some shout outs and then we'll finish up there. Let's start with Mark and go around that way.
Sherlock Holmes on the internet. You can find me most places. I do a show called High Rollers. It's on before Godforged. We said every week, every Sunday, it's D&D day. Watch your High Rollers, watch your Godforged. Bam, bam, bam. Apart from that, I'm just mad busy. I got a lot of stuff coming up that isn't really things I can talk about. It's all stuff that's already pre-booked and done, and I'm just trying to truck my way through it. But maybe end of this year there'll be more fun stuff to talk about. But Sherlock Holmes, find me most places. T White, love you.
Awesome. OG, Chrissy.
Hello, I'm OLG. Shout out to Zeppeli, our very own Build the Pony. It's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be good. It's all gonna be good. I have faith. I believe in us and our ability to save this horse's life.
It was the way I found out with just Mark's reaction.
This
Like, it was
vodka.
like, this, yeah, it was genuinely so. It was so portrayed in your voice. I was like, "What's he talking about?" I didn't realize. Tomato.
I got nothing ever.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So Twitch.tv/Tomato. He's never busy. Brizzy.
Brizzy Voices on Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Cast Party is my D&D podcast.
Nice.
Link is in the chat.
Nice. Gabe.
Man.
I don't know. I'm just trying to sleep more. I'm
Word.
Gabe.
That's a
Gabe
good one.
James Games. I've been doing too much and I can't do it all. So, but this is
I guess I could say pre-order God of War Ragnarok.
Yes.
Coming
Yeah.
I'm so
now
excited.
it's relevant to the themes of this game,
It
so
is,
maybe
yeah.
you'd be into it. Coming out
I'm
Hell yeah.
November
so excited
9th.
for that. I can't wait.
Gabe, you're gonna have to stay awake so that you can play it. Sorry,
Damn
you're
it.
gonna sleep a little bit less.
I'm in.
You gotta stay
Okay,
awake
fine.
until it comes out.
If anyone
guess.
is wondering why that was so out of context, they don't know. Brizzy voices in the game.
I have voice game.
Brizzy
Yeah,
voices in God of War.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I'm
wait.
so excited for that. It's gonna be great. Hello, Joe Fudge. You can find me on this channel. You can watch Godforge on Sunday if you are after High Rolls, as Mark so eloquently put. We just did episode 100, so it's episode 101 this weekend.
Wow.
And,
We peaked. It was-
So many people died.
It's a lot.
Like actually?
We
I don't
had
wanna get into,
2 player
like,
deaths.
actually,
in
like
yeah.
the
spoiler stuff, but so many
Damn.
people died in that episode. More than should ever happen in an episode.
Damn.
It was.
Yeah.
It was a 100 for sure.
That was
that
yeah.
was
To
a
have it
weird-
on the
Wow.
100 too.
It
Wow.
was a weird episode. But check that out. Otherwise, we've got a Discord, which if you want to go and post any fan art, we've seen some amazing ones recently. I'm going to start putting them into the little reel at the beginning
Yeah.
of the stream. Thank you so much for all that fan art. We really do appreciate it. But you can go
Awesome.
discuss the game. You can go and discuss all stuff that's happening, spoilers and all sorts there. And there's also a Patreon if you want to see any of the behind-the-scenes notes or monsters or anything. All this boon mechanics will be up on there at some point soon as well. So, with that all being said, we'll see you next week for episode 14 of Mistletoe. Thanks, everyone, for playing, and mostly thank you, everyone, for
Yes.
watching as well. We'll see you next week. Ta-ta!
Bye.
Bye-bye.